Okay, we are live. We are live. All right. Wait for some people to come on. Okay, we got some people coming in. Uh, all right. All right. Welcome to tonight's show. Tonight, me and my wife Sandy, and we're going to be talking about if you've seen the comments or the comments. If you've seen the title, Interracial Love and Marriage, me and my wife Sandy. And, we're going to be talking a little bit about our interracial experience. And, the other night when we came on and did that, the Captain Swirl on location video, I didn't have an open panel. And we kind of talked about it. And we decided that, we're going to come on tonight and have an open panel. And I'm going to put the link up there. And if you guys want to, talk with us, you can. And we'll just be telling a little bit about our story. You probably heard it before if you watched enough of my videos, and I'm going to just start from the beginning, and me and Sandy will go back and forth with it, our story and stuff. But anyway, um, as you know, me and my wife Sandy, we met in 1993. Okay, right before 94, a couple months before. And we dated for a few months. 5 months later we got married, and we got married in May 19th, 1994. See, babe, I remembered. No, I never forget that. May 19th, 1994 is when we got married. I was 24, she was 25. She don't quite have a year over me. Uh, my wife's 10 months older than me. We were actually born the same year, 69. Um, but that's where it started. My wife's family was very accepting of me. Um, my mother-in-law has always been awesome. My brother-in-law, we were always close. Um, he liked to mess with me, and you heard some stories like how he used to, and he's a big guy, so he had me scared sometimes. But it was all love, and we had a good relationship even early on when we were dating. There was no interference, not within our families, and my family was accepting of her. In fact, when my mom and dad met my wife, they said, "Oh, thank God." It was like they were ready to kiss the ground and praise Jesus because I found a good woman in Sandy. And some of my girlfriends weren't always the best. I had good young ladies that I dated, but some were uh well, a little crazy, you might say. But when you're young and dumb, you don't see it, but your parents do. But they were actually thankful that I married Sandy. They were thankful that I found a good quality woman and a good wife and somebody to that would love me, and that was their concern. They were never concerned with me being with a black woman. In fact, they knew that where I was going anyway. So they just hoped I found a good wife. And I did. And my wife Sandy has a way of, her personality will win you over in a heartbeat. I mean, she's just got that sweetness about her. She's loving. Um, and like I said, the minute my dad met my wife, I had his blessing, and I didn't have to ask for it. But anyway,
It was all the cooking that I did for your dad and your mom. I think that put it over the top there. So, but every time that we'll have a dinner or anything, stuff like that, it was always a gathering. So, I mean, That's what won him over. So every time we would go over, he's always asking what's on the menu. I tell him he's always ready.
Yeah, and my wife can cook a lot better than my mom or stepmom could. I'm just being honest. I mean, so yeah, but I mean, you could just tell by her personality. And my wife's mother is really awesome, also real loving, and mother to daughter. I mean, and I've been blessed, and my whole family loves my wife. Even
And I
my
love
grand
them too. Yep.
yeah, even my grandmothers that weren't thrilled about it, uh, later on just embrace Sandy. They fell in love with Sandy. That's just the person she is. And I would say my wife's family, um, embraced me from the get-go. Her family from Texas and Mississippi. I mean, there was never an issue. Nobody ever had no hostility towards me. Nobody ever had you know a negative word said towards me, and that's amazing. And with her, with the family gatherings and stuff, they always embrace me. And um and we're blessed. We have families that didn't try to split us apart or get involved in our marriage. And not not all people have that in interracial marriages. A lot of people have issues, a lot more than we did. I think the worst we had was my grandmothers weren't thrilled, but they didn't try to stop it. Uh, we had some so-called friends that say, "Oh, it's not a good idea. Society ain't going to accept it." Blah 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 blah, and you know. But anyway, that's about.
Thank you for the comment, LV. I appreciate that. And hello everybody. Thanks for having me on tonight again. So yeah, with everything that since we had our day out yesterday and we kind of cut it short. So I was like, well, let's get together and Brent was like, yeah, let's do that tonight and have since we didn't have like an open discussion. So it was because yesterday we went out. It was all day and by the time that we got back, we were from being out there for a while. We were like exhausted a little bit. So I just wanted to come in today and have a little chat and be with my husband today and have a chat with you guys on the open panel. So I just decided to go ahead and join in with you guys tonight.
Yeah, and the links there, guys, if you want to jump on. Um, me and my wife got 28 years of marriage and three kids you guys know about. Our oldest is 26. Our oldest daughter, our son's 23. And our daughter's going to be 21 here in November. So that's how long we've been married. And, that's, we're in our 50s and our kids are in their 20s. And our grandkids, one's 5 and one's a newborn. So our oldest granddaughter will be turning 6 in September. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so years are flying by. And we could tell you some stories. I'm retired out of the army. I spent 20 years in the army, and my wife spent every day in the army with me. I had 3 years Navy prior to going in the army. So I had a total of 23 years of service, but I spent 20 years in the army and my wife spent every day with me. So, I mean, she, had to deal with the deployments, the training, uh, me being gone a lot. And she had to take care of the kids when I was gone. And, she put a lot on her shoulders. And I'm blessed to have my wife and an army wife, and it's tough, because you got a lot more to deal with. It's like you're married but a single mother, and you got to hold the house down, and
Yep.
and then you're worried about your husband. Or if she didn't know the uncertainty. Am I coming home alive?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I going to come back injured or jacked up? You just don't know. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of worry, and You
It
know,
is with a lot of good neighbors and friends that were around us and that were also deployed. Um, it made it a little bit more easier. Um, stay busy and stay focused. So we always, had keep the kids involved, keep us busy. So it worked. So it worked out just to keep us going. So we wouldn't have to be there and just dwell in the uncertainty of everything. But the phone calls that we were getting and that we could go visit him and slots that we could go talk to him was it really helped, especially with the kids. So it really helped out a lot. So it worked out. Thank God he came back home and alive and in one piece. So we're blessed, and ever since then we just been blessed all the way through until his retirement, and so it's been a blessing. You have hello Jules, hello, and I guess
hello,
she
Joel.
had asked a question of, do you feel it would be effective if your relationship I'm sorry, do you feel it would be affected your relationship, reflect your relationship, if both families weren't as receptive?
Um, you want me to answer that first, or
You can.
okay? Um, yeah, it would have made it painful. It would have been an issue, but we would have got through it. Um, we love each other, and whether my parents are so-called friends, family, if they don't accept my wife, well, they don't accept me, and my attitude was, this is my wife, and this is the way it's going to be. Um, yeah, it would have hurt. Yeah, we would have had issues. I would have, but when you love somebody, and like I love Sandy, she's my wife regardless, and it just would have been, I would have been fighting with my family. Um, but you know, um,
Yeah, same pretty much on this end. Uh, with when me and Brent were dating and the love and the positivity that he was showing me, um, I probably pretty much would have been like, you know, this is my life. This is what I'm going to go ahead and do with the, this is my choice. Yeah, and same thing like you said, it would have hurt, it would have been hurt. It would hurt. It would be, very probably stressful, but in the long run, I think I would just be pushing forward on that. And so, like I said, I know family's everything, and if I had some family that would back me up and then the other family wouldn't, well, that'd be okay too. So, you got to get to know somebody and to meet them and know how they are to go ahead. So, so don't judge, but in the long run, yeah, I would keep pushing forward because in, in the end, it's pretty much my decision on how I want to go ahead and do it. If I want to fight the fight, then I will. And the important people that are important to me that have my back, then that would probably just be it effective. So but thank God we did have both families that were good. They understood. Um, you know, the like my father always told me, he says, go with who you love, who's going to love you back, who's going to treat you right, who's going to be there for you. And with those words from him, it just it helped out a lot, because I knew even though he didn't make it through this time to see meet my husband or my children, that always I knew he would always have my back, either he was here or not here. So that always run up on us too. So but yeah.
yeah, and the thing of it is, like I tell you our story, when when I met my wife, I was working three jobs, and this is right before I went in the army. I had a little break in service there, and I was working three jobs, and I was dating my wife, but I always made time for my wife, Sandy. Well, she wasn't my wife at the time, but I
Mhm.
was so in love with her. I just wanted to spend every minute I could with her. And sometimes I would, come see her late at night and visit. And you know, her mom and brother embraced me. they welcomed me in with open arms, and her mom was okay with that because her mom would stay up late, and she knew that sometimes that's the only time I could see my wife, or well, my Sandy at the time.
We're dating that, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
Soon to be.
yeah, but I mean, it was just a beautiful thing. It was like when I was visiting Sandy at her house, it was like I felt like I belonged there. I felt like it was home, even though it wasn't my home. I felt like it because I could feel the love from her mom and her brother. Her brother messed with me a lot, he liked to tease me and stuff. And but there was just love there, and it just worked out great. And I would spend. There were times I would come over and just. Her mom had a big sectional couch in the living room, and I would just come in and lay down and fall asleep. I would lay in Sandy's
Yeah.
lap and just fall asleep. It was like, and we watch a movie or something. And I remember the movie that was out at the time that we're dating, that movie Cadence. You remember that
Yeah.
with Charlie Sheen? And somebody was singing that song, and that's what it reminded me of. But I
Mhm.
think of my wife and when we were dating, when that uh, movie took place. And but anyway, I mean, I just felt embraced. And then a few months later, we got married. And my wife was finishing her school, so she stayed home for like 6 months. And then when I brought my wife up, we were living at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. She could tell you some loving stories about that place, huh? And the church we belonged to. Yeah, but we'll go into that a little bit early. Hey, Afro Angelique.
Hi, Brent and Sandy.
Hi,
Hey.
how are you doing?
Fine. It's wonderful to see you on the chat.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I had two questions, so I didn't want to I so okay. So Brent mentioned that you were the first white guy he dated.
Mhm.
What was about that you dated? So what was it about him that made you decide to take a chance?
I think with his personality and his care, and plus him coming up to me and talking to me, and then he went ahead and acknowledged me. So that's what got me interested. At first, I kind of relent. I kind of pulled back at first, but at that time, I had a lot of things going on. At that time when I met him, my father had just passed, so my emotions, and a lot of things that were going on wasn't really kind of there at that moment. So I had
Mhm.
to pretty much just um, deal with that first, and then you know. Put him a little bit later. At that time, he didn't know that because we had just, kind of said hi, what's your name, what's your phone number. So, I kind of like put him on the back burner until I had that. So after I deal with all that in my family, I went back and got his number, and I had his number. And so I said, well, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. Why not? I mean, what do I have to lose? I mean, all you have to do is go ahead and meet, talk, ask questions, and pretty much we been together from then. I mean, so when I first talked to him and got together with him, and his personality was sweet. He was, we talked a lot,
Yeah.
talked all night, day, so we got to know each other, and we just had one of the same goals. We were looking at the same thing. So that was a big, that was my big number one thing for him. So what he was saying and what we were connecting with, it worked. So so that's what I liked about him ever since then. His personality. He's a sweet person. My family loved him. My mom did, and my mom really, she yeah. I mean, if she don't like you, she won't say anything until after the fact. But the when she saw Brent and met him the first time, she hugged him, and she don't do that to a lot of people at all. And
Mm.
Yeah.
and so that's what I was like, well, so yeah. that tied it in for me.
Do you do you think you being a military part of a military family prepared you for dating outside of your race?
Yes, I believe that because there was a lot of the diversity. You saw a lot of it. And most interesting about it, both sides too. I mean, you saw diversity in every side of black, white, Asian, Hispanic. You know, you saw a little bit of everybody. Everybody was just kind of everybody was married to everybody, and it was. But when we came together and we talked, it was like no issue. I mean, it was like everybody talked to each other to get to know each other. It wasn't really no with us at the time there was really no color factor, but it was just everybody was just getting to know each other and asking, have you had issues or anything? No, so it was just a big thing. So we all came together, knew each other, met new people, so it was always nice. So it was just like, okay, this how. So yeah, I can say that has prepared me for for opening my options actually. So yeah.
Um, I just want to commend you because you were an army brat, an army wife, and now you're an army mom. So you've been through all stages.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of strength.
It was. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was with my mom. I think my mom's a praying woman, and she is a my grandmother was a praying woman, and my mom is she's a praying woman. And so she has always said, focus, you put your prayer in God. He'll get you through. You're going to have some ups and downs. Be ready. And I said, okay, that's okay. I'm ready. So I was ready to go ahead and, step up and fight the fight and go on my way, but, because this is my marriage. So if I'm going to make my marriage work, that's what I was going to go ahead and do. So, but yeah, it was, but it was good and bad, and that's fine. That's just life.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
It prepares you for a lot.
yes,
Oh
you're
yeah.
right. It does. It
Sandy,
does.
how did you know Brent was the one?
Um, I, well, there was one night we had a little argument, and I think I was caught up in my feelings one day, and I was just like, I'm not gonna just I'm not having this. I am not, And at that time, he was visiting with his mom, because usually when he came in, he was when he was living there, he would go spend the night with his mother and spend some time with his mom. And so and I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not dealing with this. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, that's it. We're done. He's like, well, no, you need to give me more explanation than that. I'm like, well, that's it. And so before I know it, and I'm talking to him, I'm hanging up. 30 minutes later, I get a knock at the door, and it's him right there at my doorstep. And and I was like, "You're supposed to be at your mom's." She goes, "Well, this is more important to me. We need to figure this out. What is it?" So at that
Wow.
moment, I was like, "You know what? He's fighting for me. He's there for me. Nobody that I have ever dated never did that." It was like, okay, well, you're gonna be like that. But when he did that and showed up at my doorstep and left his mom, which he goes over there and visits and spends the night with her every other weekend, I was like, you know what? Yeah, he was
Yeah,
like,
and that was around. It was Christmas.
yes,
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it was snow out. It was cold, and
yeah, it
I
was,
told my mom I gotta go.
yeah,
She's like, "What do you mean you gotta go? It's Christmas." I said, "Mom, I love you. I'll talk to you later." And I left, and she was like in the couple towns over, so she's about, was it like 45 miles away?
yeah.
So I
Wow.
took off,
No kidding. He
and
got there in 30
and
minutes.
and we had a struggle at that time. We were arguing. But I think something I said triggered her, and I don't even remember what we were, but we were.
It was
It
about
was
your
called.
ex.
Oh, Okay. You want to go there? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't want to. Yeah, because
Isn't it
yeah,
always?
yeah,
Yeah, it
and
was.
it was,
Yeah.
and to be honest, um, the one I talked to you guys about before Sandy, um, I was still talking to her. I wasn't dating her or nothing, and one night she saw me with her, and it was like, okay, I'm done here. And I don't blame Sandy for that. I was wrong in there, and
Yes.
and but I wasn't doing that. It was just like I don't
Uh,
know. It was
mm-mm. No,
yeah.
look, it
Okay,
doesn't
there's
matter
no
what you're
excuse.
doing. If that's the ex, you're ex for a reason, especially when you got somebody new. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did
So
the right thing, Sandy.
You are right.
yeah, but
Thank you.
but that was the end of that mess after that. So I was
Right.
really
Yeah, Brent, you're
appreciative
lucky
of my
she's
wife.
forgiving because a lot of women would have been like, "That you was with your ex? Go back to your ex then."
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yeah, it
and,
was.
and I told her and see I was like, okay, well, yeah, but we just broke it off and we're not married or anything yet. I do want to marry you, but
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's the night I told her I want to marry you. And she's like, "Oh, okay." Hmm. I think she's about to choke me, and I was like, I was in a rock and a hard place, and I was like, um, yeah,
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
you barely escaped that one.
yeah,
Right.
You are very lucky that she has a forgiving heart.
yeah. I am.
Yeah, I was with my cousins too at that time, and my cousins had just came down from New York, and so they usually would come in every year, and so we would go out, we would go out and stuff, and just show them a good, just get out for a little while, show them a nice time, just to get out and have fun, and my
Mhm.
cousin was like, she goes, "I got your back." She goes, "Where is she?" And I was like, "Hold up, hold on.
Oh
let
gosh.
me let me figure out
O-
this first
Okay.
before you go."
Cousins from New York don't play.
Yeah, and hey, and the thing of it was is and then we went out one night, and I think that was New Year's. And
It
what
was.
happened is I ran into her, and I was with my wife Sandy. And well, Sandy wasn't my wife at the time, and she saw me, and I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!"
I saw the
And
look. I saw the
it,
look when we walked in the door. Where she
and
was
she
like,
was
yeah,
giving me the evil eye, and I was
yeah,
like,
that's
"Oh
right.
my god!" I was trying to be nonchalant and try to no, but she approached me,
But
and
I
then
knew
Sandy
already.
was there,
Yes,
and
because when we walked in the door, I already saw her because he was behind me, and she looked right dead at him, and she goes, and us women know when we see that look and we have that radar,
Hmm.
had it, and
that
so yeah, so yeah,
yeah, that was New Year's '94
yeah.
when it
That's,
just turned '94,
mhm,
and I had a silk shirt on, a real nice shirt, and I spent money on clothes back in the day, and and she ripped that shirt off me. I mean,
Wow.
and made a scene in front of everybody. It was so embarrassing, and
Oh,
then I had broke it off with her for a while, and I said, "No, I we don't have nothing no more. This is going to be my wife. Leave me alone. Just leave." And she went. She said, "No, you're going home with me," and made a big scene. And then Sandy was upset, and then her cousin from New York's ready to fight. And I'm just like, "Oh my God, this can't be
mhm.
happening."
I would have
And
wanted to lay hands.
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I, I I didn't know how I was. I wanted to crawl under a rock because it was just it was wow.
Yeah.
Um, but
It was a little intense, but we got through it, and at the
yeah,
end, he chose right because he left.
yeah, I chose right.
He
I did.
took
You
his
chose right.
jacket, took
He,
his chain, and pretty much, yeah. So he came up and he was like, he chose right.
yeah, he chose the peace over the drama.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. And that's no lie because she would get physical with me and yeah, I didn't
Wow.
yeah, but it was yeah.
You
It was
guys had some drama.
Yeah, we did in the beginning
yeah,
when we were dating, but once we got married, everything just it smoothed out and we were good.
yeah,
Um, it was just it was a bad time.
right.
Um, and I like I said around Christmas, I didn't do the right thing, and but
I think with people sometimes people don't like to see you happy. If they're not happy, then nobody else
Hmm.
is going to be happy, right? So
Yeah.
the thing with her was that, you know, they were dating. She had children. Brent took care of those children like they were his own. Um,
Oh, she
yeah,
was losing a
but
daddy and a provider.
yeah, yeah.
oh yeah,
Brent was good to
Uh,
those kids. Those kids loved him, and
yeah,
that's what she pretty much tried to use that against him in order to go ahead and try to capture him. So that was the thing with Brent. Brent had a good heart. I mean, and
Hmm.
he treated those kids like it was his own, because when he was in that with dating her, he was, if I'm dating you, okay, I got it. I'm pretty much dating your, well, not, with your kids. So
dating
I'm
your
gonna be
kids. Yeah,
there,
no,
be there.
that didn't
And
sound
so
good.
they saw he was there, and they saw him out as a father figure because he was there. Um, he took him to places. He treated him like his own kids. And so,
Hmm.
but the thing of it is that she had used that, destroyed that, and she was walking over him using that. So when she knew that he's going to be there, she would go off and do her own thing, or go off and you know do whatever she wants, or and leave him there with the children. He was just like, are we
A
going to,
babysitter.
there you
Yeah,
go, exactly.
yeah, and I, you know, having two kids, I was okay with it, but the thing of it is I was used and I was young and dumb and she seen me coming and yeah, but I got through that. But
Yeah, so when that
it just
when
yeah.
he walked away, that was, yeah, that was it. So she's trying to fight still after, and I'll put this in there, then I'll leave it alone. So then after we got married, we he did his training, came back. She sent him a love letter with perfume on it,
Ugh.
then sent him a Lakers jacket.
No, it's Phoenix Suns.
Oh, I'm sorry, Phoenix Suns jacket. I like the Lakers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Phoenix Sun jacket. And so my
Yeah.
in-laws were like, "Hey, this came from Brent." I'm like, "Well, what is this?" So then I see the letter, I read it, and oh my goodness, I must have, and I shouldn't hit the ceiling. After I think about it now, I was like, "What? Are you serious? You know we're married and you're still trying?" But yeah, so
Yeah,
she
and
had a last ditch effort. So yeah, she tried it.
and
Yeah.
still tried after we had our oldest daughter, trying to reach
What?
out and stuff. Yeah. Um,
That is so special.
It
That's
was.
like
oh, let me tell you how special she was. I didn't know we are going to talk about her
that's
really.
that was a straight look. That was a straight Jill Scott song, and where she's just like, fly away. I've been a lady up till now, but I don't know how much more I'm gonna take.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It was. But I thought about it for a moment. And I was just like, you know what? I was like, I'm like, well, she sent you jacket. Go ahead and keep the jacket. He's like, no, I'm not keeping the jacket. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and keep the jacket.
Go
She
get
paid
the
money.
jacket.
Keep
Get the
it.
jacket. You could,
She paid money for it. Keep it. He's like, no, that's not nothing. We're not going to do
we could
that.
sell the jacket for money. It's all good.
I was send it up. Hey, I was okay with that. I was like, fine, if she want to do it. But I understood. He was like, no, because I don't want no part of her. I don't want, I don't want that memory. And I get it. And I was like, well,
Mhm.
I understand, because I get what you're saying. So
You are definitely the bigger woman and the better woman, and because
thank you.
a lot of women would not have had those reactions.
Yes, you're
Um,
correct. Right.
there would have been police
Yeah.
involved.
And
Right.
I,
It was, yeah.
Um, how did you feel knowing that Brent would protect you? How does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel great. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel so loved and protected. I mean, it just, you know, when he has my back and when we talk and he's there for me, it just makes me feel, it makes me feel just great. I just feel good. And all the love he's shown for me, especially from what the time that we been together on up, it just keeps getting better and better, and that's what I love about him, because I know if anything that we go through, any struggles or whatever, and we always make that point to, with things never to go to bed angry, always talk it out, make sure everything's smooth over. We're together on things. So, I love that about him. I like when he's there, he's up front and he's, there to take control and protect me. I love that. I do. I'm sometimes we need that. We deserve that, and
Yes.
so with him, he's I love him for it. I truly love him for him. It's
It's
he's
it
a
can be
blessing.
a truly unique experience, especially if you've never had it before.
That's right. You are correct. Yes. Yes.
It's
And when you
it's
never
almost it's almost like, what is this? What's going
right.
on?
That is so right. Yeah, you
Yeah.
hit the nail. When you haven't had it, and then you see this, and then you're right. Those words are correct, and I was like, whoa, what is that? I'm like, because we're so used to protecting ourselves and doing everything, and
Hmm.
when he comes in and he steps in, he's like, wait a minute, I got this. No, just step. I got it. I'm like, okay, I'm like, okay,
It's
let
like
me
it's
get
like
down. I got you.
it's
Yeah,
like I'm used to handling everything. What do you mean that you have it? Um,
right.
Uh,
what is this?
you, you, you know what? I remember when we were dating and we were going out and I paid for dinner and stuff and you were saying, "Well, you want me to help you out?" And I'm like, "What? No."
Right.
And you were like, "Oh well, thank you. You were, you know, I mean, you were giving me praise for paying for the date." And I'm like, "Well, I asked you. I was."
It's a foreign feeling
It was
because
like,
you feel like you got to do something
and
because
what's
you're
fun,
used to doing something.
Right,
it,
exactly.
it
Yep.
was funny because she was telling me how she went on a date and the guy asked her out and she had to pay half of it, and I guess they
Uh-huh.
split the money for the movie and
Yes.
the
Or
dinner
I'll pay for the
afterwards.
movie and you get dinner.
Yes.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was like, wow, that's new to me because I mean, my father would have choked the crap out of me if he, sorry, if he found out that she paid for it or paid half of it. That I would have been embarrassed. I would have been like, and even when we were married, it was like I had to pay for it. I just didn't feel right if she opened up her purse to buy lunch or something. Even though we're married and our money's our money, it was still, I don't know. I was just raised that you take care of everything. You manage the money, you pay the bills, you work, um and that's how I was taught my whole life. And um like I said, when we were dating, if I didn't have money, I wouldn't, we wouldn't go out to places. And there was
But
one time you
yeah.
s- and it was towards the end, close to payday, and I was out of money. And
Well,
she was
yeah,
like,
the
"Well, come
reason
on, I'll take care of it. You pay
right.
for everything."
And for him, the reason why he was close because he was working two jobs, but he had to have his wisdom teeth pulled. So he
Mm.
Oh yeah,
wasn't working at that time. And so when he started getting better, and everything else, and he wasn't, I was like, yeah, because we're already dating, so I don't mind, you know, the relationship that we're in and things like that. I don't mind paying sometimes because I knew he always had my back. So it wasn't a big deal for me to go ahead and do dinner
Mhm.
or move. That was fine. That was my decision. So I was okay with that. So it was like, okay, I know, because I know he'll take care of me, and
Mhm.
say, well, what do you need or what do you want, and go from there. So it was no big deal. So yeah, it worked
Yeah.
Um,
out.
Honey
It,
Bear asked, when will you do a show about biracial children, biracial kids?
Hmm.
Um, I I would like. I'll have to ask my daughters if they want to come on. I don't want to show their faces or nothing, but I wanted to do that. See if they'd come on and talk about it and give their perspective on it. Me and my wife, we've talked about raising biracial kids,
Hmm.
and I would love to do a show on that. And I would even invite, you know, um, people out there that are biracial, and give their experience, what they go through. You know, um, I mean, I could give you what I think and how we raised our kids. Me and my wife's philosophy always was with our children. Um, they're both black and white, so we tried to teach them to love both sides of their family and not favor one over the other. That was our goal. Not to where they identify with black and have something against white, or white and something against black. We didn't want them to, feel like they have to identify with the group. We try to teach them to be who they are and embrace it. Not to think they're better than nobody, but they're
Right.
not beneath nobody either. And
Right.
I think for the most part we reached that goal because our kids love both our families, and I've never heard any of them say that they're black or they're white or nothing like that. They know what who they are, and they're um and they pretty much embrace who they are. I mean, my kids will send me articles on interracial couples and stuff, positive stuff. I know my oldest daughter, she sends me and my wife stuff about it. And like the lovings and history of interracial marriages and stuff. And that's a beautiful thing, because they're not angry at me and my wife. They love us. We're a loving family.
mhm.
And but I would like to do a show on that and hear what people have to say, what they've been through. How were they raised? Did their parents tell them to identify with the group, or did they try to teach them like me and Sandy we did our children? Embrace who you are and love your family, both sides of your family. You know, um, you know, but I mean that could be a whole show right there, and
Right. Yeah. That's a if we go ahead and get into that, that would be a longer show, but yeah,
Yeah, it would, but it would be a
right.
good show just to
Yes,
see
it would.
people's experience and their perspective. Um,
That would be interesting to see.
yeah,
Hmm.
Um,
because yeah, go ahead.
Sandy, now that you guys are firmly in your marriage, will Brent let you pay for him a dinner for his birthday?
Oh yeah, he would. He'd be like, yeah, what's with the appetizer and a cocktail and main course and dessert. Yeah, but that's okay because well, he probably knows it. So, but yeah, I'll do that because it's going to come out of the account anyway. So I know which account to put that
Yeah,
in there.
I'm paying for it anyway.
So
So
technically, he's paying for it. So that's
Yeah,
that's
there
why
you
he
go.
doesn't have a problem.
right. I'll just pull up the card like I'm paying for it. But yeah, it's yeah. I'll be
So
like, yeah,
technically, he's paying for it anyway. So
yeah. There you go. And I get, oh, you're such a sweet wife. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah,
And then now, okay, my birthday's coming up. What are you going to get me?
oh my
uh,
right,
goodness,
exactly. We'll see. Yeah, we'll work on that. We still got a couple months to go.
yeah, yeah.
you guys are relationship goals. I am in awe of the love that you guys have for one another.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, we appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a long road, but it's it worked out for us. We're blessed. I can really truly say that blessed. Um, it was rough, some rocky roads, but with everything that we had to endure around us, people, friends, and everything, which is pretty much settled now. But it all came together. And I truly love this man. He's my heart. And he gave me 3 beautiful kids. So I'm blessed.
um with the dynamic that you guys have, did you notice a big difference as to how you were treated, whether you were on or off base?
Yeah. You want me to answer that first, or you want to?
You go. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. There was a difference. Yes. Um. Yeah.
In one
I
particular state. In one particular state,
yeah.
there
But
was a
you
difference.
know, we. My wife had to deal with an angry Karen, and I had to deal with an angry Darren. Both treated us the same. It's kind of weird. But
Closet, closet. Yeah.
yeah, closet racist. Yeah, but it comes out. You can't stay in the
Mhm.
closet when you're like that.
Right.
But I would say, yeah, off base, we're treated different. Because on base, there's so many interracial marriages and stuff
Right.
within
Mm-hmm.
the military, within the army.
Hmm.
Um, it's like it was accepted. We were all embraced. We didn't focus on who's married to who and who's. There were some people that didn't like it, but um, they kept their mouth shut because that wasn't the thing. We embraced each other. A lot of us were married interracially. A lot of guys were married to Asian women. Um, there were a number of white guys married to black women, and black guys to white women, and uh, every combination you can think of.
Right.
And we had no problem with that. We were family. We were a team.
Hmm.
We embraced each other, and and we had to in that sense. And it's a different world. Um, I know in one state, and I'm not going to say the name of the state, Missouri. Uh, we had a I don't know what 3 encounters of racial situations that I couldn't believe were happening. That I thought I was living a movie. Uh, but the sad thing is our kids were toddlers back then, and they had to see that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it had an impact on my youngest daughter. It kind of scared her because she couldn't understand why um, these angry hag Karens were yelling at um, her mom and dad. She didn't understand that. You know, she didn't understand why they're so angry. And one thing my youngest daughter said, she said, "Dad," and she told me this when she's a little girl. She says, "Dad, when we're with mom, nobody bothers us, but when you're around, that's when they get mad." And
Wow.
and that it was a rare thing that happened, but it did happen, and it stuck with her. And children don't understand that thing. Why people hate others, and they just all she knows that's her mom and dad, and she loves us. She can understand why someone would be mad at us. And but it was I mean, where we were at, it was a very rural area.
Right.
People
This is a
caught.
small town, because the
Yeah.
base was so. I'm sorry, honey, not to mean to cut you
Okay.
off. Yeah, but the base was big, and it was in a small town. So pretty much the town really relied on the base to go ahead and substantiate their money, everything else. So the base pretty much carried the town at that time. So in that in that part of town, it was, yeah, there's still some people that didn't like it, till that time, until what, 2000. I mean, we're 2022, that was like 2014. There was some
Yeah.
towns you couldn't even drive into, that they
Mm.
knew, and if they saw you, then they would they would tolerate it because they knew you're military. So they would be like, oh, okay, that's military, so that's okay. But if it was another thing, then it wouldn't be okay. There were some towns that you could not go into, and they will tell you not to go into. When we were looking to buy a home, we bought a home outside of the base, and by the realtor, she was like, "That's a place that you do not want to go ahead and buy a home." I'm like, "Really? We're seriously?" She goes, "Nope." And especially with you guys
Yeah,
being a couple, she goes, "No." So we're
Wow.
like, we're like, okay. So, but yeah, so we had endured, and I had talked about that before with one of my managers when I worked in HR, and um, a lot of people did not see my husband at all when I was working or trying to go ahead and find a job. A lot of people didn't know who my husband was. So, and well, that was none of their business in the beginning. So if it was going to just be, it's I'm looking for the job. I'm the one that you should be focused on. So, but when they found out about my husband, I had talked about this too with everybody that's been on here before. If you haven't heard it, but I mean, everybody just that knew me was like they were cool with me, and then once they saw my husband, they were like in shock. They were in shock. They were in awe. They were. Brent came in, bought me lunch, and he says, "Hey, honey, how you doing?" I said, "Oh, good." And then I worked at the jewelry counter at that time, so I would leave the jewelry counter, go over there to him, and I did this on purpose. And so I would hug him and kiss him, and and just embrace him, and you should saw the looks that I got because
Did you
everybody
get some
said
drop jaws?
yes, and a lot of questions, yeah. And then I had took my lunch, and then took my lunch, went back there and ate, and boy, I have never seen so many people come in and just was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "That's my husband." They're like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "How come you didn't say anything?" And I'm like, "Well, what am I supposed to say?" That I get that all the time. Is every time somebody says, everybody goes, "How come you didn't say anything?" And and good
I
night,
just
honey dear. Thank you for coming in. Um,
Mhm.
and I always got that question. It wasn't, oh wow, you guys are married. How long you been married? It was like, you never told me. How come you didn't tell me? Why? Those are the questions that I always
Like,
always got. And
like,
then
how did this happen?
yeah. Hey, good
yes,
night, honey bear. Thanks for
and
Good
coming
night,
on.
honey bear.
but yeah, that's the question that then I got to follow up. Then you got the follow up questions. And the follow up question was, how do how did it go? How long you been married? And oh, and then then the kids came in, and then they're like, well, your kids, how and that was the other thing, and so I just yeah, so I you could so with with my husband, and he'll tell you I did that all the time, and so if I wanted to ruffle some feathers, then that's how I ruffled them because that's
It's
what
not
I
your
did.
business.
That's right. And I ruffled them on purpose. Trust me. He's like, quit doing that. I said, nope, I'm not.
but
I'm with you 100% on that one.
but
Thank
you know
you.
what? I did the same thing she was doing because when we first went in the army, my
Mhm.
first duty station, I tell this story. They my supervisor, my squad leader, he talked to me like he talked about me like I walked on water. I was always a hard worker, but
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
was a good
man,
worker.
he
Mhm.
had ideas of me moving up in rank, advancement. He says,
Yes.
man, you know your stuff, you work hard. Oh man. Until once he met my wife,
Uh,
I went from gold to garbage. It was no longer I could do right. It was whatever I did wrong was magnified. Whatever I did right was ignored. Um, and I dealt with what my wife was dealing with at her job later on, and I would do the same thing. I would embrace her because I knew it would tear him up. And I tell the story how he kept. And here's the thing: he would keep asking me, "What? You don't like white women? What's wrong with white women? You're a white guy. What is wrong? Why did you?" And I'm just like, one day I just blew up and says, "You know what? White women ain't worth the darn." I just started. flipping out and going off on white women. And there was, some female soldiers, they're white women, and they said, and they looked at me as I walked down the hall. They said, I mean, we get it. Your wife's black. You like black women, but do you have to trash us? And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It wasn't meant that way. I said, he was kept, you know, harassing me and asking me why I didn't marry a white woman, why I don't like white women. So I just lashed out at him. It's nothing against you. And I knew these ladies. I work with them. So it's like, oh, okay, we understand. It wasn't no big deal, but they're like, dang, you got to really trash. So it was like, one of those moments. But I went through that, and you know what? This guy tried to hold me back, tried to hurt my career. And you know what? Once I got my sergeant stripes, I was the same rank as him, and I got to tell him off and go into him like no tomorrow, and I didn't hesitate. And in fact, I passed him up. So hey, there's always justice. So
right.
God provides a way to get the.
That's right.
Yes,
Patience is the virtue. Yep. Yeah.
And I give my wife credit for me getting through that, because that was tough. It was like I had to watch my back and everything. I was, it was like, certain people looking for me to mess up, make a mistake so they could hammer me. And, you're like on pins and needles.
Mhm.
And if you do something good, it's ignored. It's like you didn't do it. But if you make a small mistake and it's not even your fault, they like to, you know what I mean.
They like to
But
magnify it and make everything your fault.
yeah, but that was only one instance I had. The rest of my career was pretty smooth when it came to that. That was just, I just had the wrong leadership at the time, but we got through it. Still successful. Nothing
Great.
stopping us.
Great.
And with my wife too, with her job, she had an angry woman that tried to hurt her career, and she still prospered, still went up the ladder. So
No
but
weapon formed.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I mean it just as he was saying, as he was saying about the story, it just made us stronger. And
Yeah.
when you endure things like that, it makes you stronger, because with people like that, it's just like, okay, you know what? We're going to be okay. And it just made our relationship better, stronger. And we knew we had to fight the fight. And so other than that, that just brought us more closer than anything, knowing that what we had to endure with. But, we were stronger, and then we had a lot of laughs on the way, because, the more we talk about it now, we laugh. At that moment in time, we knew we were going to be okay, because like he said, he really pretty much passed him in rank, which was great, because when he got pinned, it was awesome. And I had to, because I knew his wife, and she was something else. And so, yeah, that was another issue.
Oh yeah, she
was special.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
She's the one that started everything else too, because that's how she was. She was, she had that wife rank, that some wives tend to use, and that she was go ahead and just put
She was
her
one of those.
rank on her.
Yeah.
And
Do you know who my husband is?
yeah.
Yeah, she was one of those, yes.
Yeah. And when, and I never wear my husband's rank, that's not my rank to be. That's his rank, because he worked hard for it. I'm just the person that's going to back him up and be there for him. And then when he falls, I'm going to be there to go ahead and help him pick him up, dust him off, and tell him, tomorrow's another day. But I'm not one of these women that wear rank. I'm one of these women that stand behind my husband, because he was a soldier, and that was his duty. And so as a wife, that's what I do. I don't wear rank. I can play that.
And that is why you are the most fabulous wife.
Thank you.
And that's nothing. Tell you how fabulous my wife is. Let me tell you, when I retired from the Army, I got a job working overseas, making $120,000 a year. Okay. And I quit the job I had. I was working for corrections when I first got out. And I quit that job for this job, making $120,000, right? And I thought, man, that's good money. And we had plans and what we're going to do. And because the Army taught me, skills I could use. And I went overseas, and something medically happened to me that disqualified me. They had to send me home. And
Mhm.
that was the hardest trip coming home without a job. And we still had a mortgage. We still had bills. I had my retirement, which is a third of what I was getting, and I
Mhm.
didn't get my cost of living. I didn't get my what they call BAH,
Mhm.
Right.
and all of that. So a lot of money I didn't have anymore, and we had to really scrape. And I remember that was a humbling experience. And I remember I was so sad. I looked at my wife and I said, "I'm sorry." And I was worried about the house. And she looked at me. She says, "Well, whether we're in the house, a mansion, a cardboard box, I'm your wife and I love you and I got your back." And when she said that to me, and she
Mhm.
did it in a sweet, calm voice, like, "Hey, everything's going to be fine." And she has more
Yes.
faith than I do because I was worried. I was like, I mean, the next day I came home, I got a job at Walmart, making minimum wage. So
Let's
that
Mhm.
was a
go.
humbling experience. I started out great paying job to a minimum wage job, but it those type of experiences build character.
Mhm.
It makes you appreciate what you got. And
And Sandy is a ride or die. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. There you
but
go. That's right.
but amazingly, we never fell behind in our bills.
Mhm.
Things worked out.
Yep.
I ended up, getting a job that paid better than what I had overseas, and I could be at home. So
Mhm.
God blessed us even more.
Right.
But I had to go through the humility. I had to go through, the pain.
Right.
But my wife could have got upset with me. She could have flipped out and lost her mind. Who knows? Um, but she was calm about it. It was like she knew everything was going to be all right, and it was.
If you have the right black woman, that's what happens.
Yeah, and
It's, it's
I
like
got the
you
right
take a
one.
calm look. It's like, okay, this is what it is, and this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna make it because God's gonna make a way out of no way.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. You gotta put your faith in there because if you don't, it'll drive you crazy. So
Mhm.
um I was working. I mean, and he was getting, like I said, he was getting his retirement. Everything was great. It was going to be a little bit tight, but that's okay. We're still going to eat. We always made a way. We knew how to go ahead and uh, do things. Everything was on a tight budget. And so until things got on track and then everything else, then we would go ahead and we will reward yourself. Everything's gonna be okay. We'll go ahead and get rewarded later on. That's okay. Now we're just focused because we got 3 kids and
Mhm.
everything was gonna be okay. So and he was really he wanted this job so bad because it was a
yeah,
new um not only
Mhm.
just for the money, but it was a new job for him. So he was going to learn something totally different from what he was learning, and he was really anxious
yeah,
about it and stuff. So he was really excited about it, and they were really excited to have him on there because when they hired him and saw his credentials and the recommendations that he got, they was really excited to hire him. But with that, but like you said, sometimes things are not planned. God has another path for us to take. So, it worked out.
It's funny how if you take the wrong pathway, God will correct it for you whether you like it or not.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Very true.
you know what? I look back at that, and with my with my asthma and stuff that I was diagnosed after I retired, going back to the desert, breathing in that fine dust. Um, that probably wouldn't have been a good thing for me or my body, really. If I thought about that, um, yeah, so it's probably God looking out for me and my family because we all our needs were met. We never fell behind on one bill. It was like it was
God
smooth.
math.
Yeah. We talked about that one night right after we had to delete God
Yeah,
math.
God math.
That's what
Because
it was. Because
you know what
logically,
you have in your account. You
right?
know what's coming out. And you're just like, how do I still have money?
Right.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
God math.
That's true. That's very true. It was. We were blessed. I was like, wow. And just looking back on it, I'm like, whoa, how did we come from?
hey,
Yeah,
I
it was.
I like Jesse C. Love and Michelle Hernandez. Ride and live.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think somebody had a question about any tips for being a great wife to your husband. I have to say,
Uh,
um,
Make him happy. Do whatever he wants. Okay,
no.
I'll stop.
No. It's the
So
voice of
what?
reason when
What?
everybody else is crazy.
Right.
I would say, special dinners, surprise weekends,
Yeah.
anything, just something, listen, um, if he's having a hard day, he's having a hard day if he calls and he's having a rough day, and a favorite meal, every now and then treat both treat him like like sometimes when with me and Brent, well, I say, you know what, let's just go to a hotel for a weekend,
Mm-hmm.
go catch a
Same.
movie, go, don't worry about going home, just like leave for the weekend and just go, go to the next city over, or go down the street even, I mean, it's just something that it's just
Yeah.
with relaxing with you two only,
Mhm.
um and just little things like that every now and then, just surprises like that, and that does help, because it's like, wow, okay, nice, it just, it's comforting, and they appreciate that, and you appreciate it more too when when he
You,
does that for you too as well. So that's what some of the tips I would go ahead and do with.
you know what means a lot to me though in our marriage is when I was down, when things didn't go well, because we've had a successful marriage and we've uh for the most part been successful, but there have been a couple times where the rug was ripped out from under me a couple times and we got through it. um and what helped me bounce back is that my wife was there, and I remember I come in, you would just hug me and I just hug you tight, and I would just and we would pray, and sometimes I would fall asleep hugging my wife praying to God. um that means a lot. That builds strength. It's like, I would feed off her energy and her love, and it would just motivate me. It would um, make me work harder to do what I needed to do. Um, and like I said, my wife has made me successful, because she's got so much faith in me, and I love her so much. I can't. Failure is not an option. And that's how I feel. I mean, she's brought the best out of me, and in that Bible verse where it says that your wife is like a crown onto you, that is so true. You got the right wife and you're set. I mean, you're going to have tough times, but with her
Yeah.
love, that helped, push me over the wall to where I could do it, to where, and it's been amazing. I was like, dang, I didn't know I could accomplish this, but I didn't want to let my wife down.
Hmm.
You know,
Sandy, what has helped you be the calm in the midst? What's helped you keep your calm in the midst of the storm?
Ooh, a lot of prayer, and my mom. Um, my mom is my mom is she's a person that I talk to all the time, and my husband will tell you that. I mean, she's like, she'll tell you like it is, and she doesn't hold back, and And that's a lot that that keeps me calm, because um I was one of those people that if you said anything to me or you crossed me, it took me from 0 to 60 really
Mhm.
quick. And so I
Mhm.
would just be the person to fly off the handle. And my mom had to take me back a peg, and she was like, you got to really pull it in, you know,
Mhm.
relax, don't let people pull you into that situation, because everything, karma always will come back. So
Mhm.
she
Yes,
was
it
like, you
does.
just need to go ahead and relax, pull it in, breathe. You can say a couple words if you want to, but don't fly out that, because I was that person. I did. I really had to take a step back, and because I would fly off the handle no matter, because I was, I had a wall. So I always had that wall. And so
Mhm.
when I had that wall, I was ready to fight. And that was the only thing. It was a wall, and then I was ready to go. So I had to, really pull that back and maintain it, and not give those people, give them or let them see me like that. Because to me, I had to be the bigger person. I had to go ahead and let that just go off my back, because tomorrow was another day. And then on top of that, I was not going to see these people for the rest of my life anyway, too, as well. So why give them the satisfaction of having
Mhm.
them see me like that? Be a lady, be presentable, and go on. And that's the best. Yeah, that's the best thing, because it kills them at the end, which, you know,
Yeah, because it's like when people are expecting you to go off, and it's
r-
just like, bless your heart.
exactly.
Um, may God continue to bless you, and I'm
Yeah,
be on
right.
your way, and they shaking their head while you walking away, wondering what just happened.
Right. That's right, and that's the that's
Right.
the best part of it too. So I had to really do that. So I had to really sit back, because I was that person at first that would just, if you would come up and
Mhm.
say something to me, I would snap, not just really think about what you just said, and it was just those any type of keywords that would set me off. I
Mhm.
would, but I had my mom was like, nope, you can't do that. This you have to take it back, and you pray, sit up here and pray before in the morning, at night, and just have the God give you that patience in that time.
Mhm.
And yep, so that's how I had to do it.
Yeah, because I like for me, it's like if we can talk all day about me all day. You start talking about
Right,
my family,
right.
we gonna have problems.
That's right,
So
exactly. Yeah.
I
And
I had to learn to start praying before start saying.
I know, right?
Praying before.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right. But yeah, that keeps you calm, and that keeps you. You know, but I'm telling you, yep, and you're right, because you'll be that every time they see you, they know better not to say anything, because they're gonna know, and they're not gonna say nothing else to you. They're not. So yeah, they're not gonna say anything else to you.
So now Brent has told us that like sometimes if y'all are arguing or whatever, he'll just say "I love you" to end in the middle of the argument. How do how
I'm
do you
sneaky
react to that?
like that.
Yeah, he does that. Yeah, yeah. And
Get you
You
off
can't
guard.
really like somebody telling you you love them while you're in the middle of being mad. It's like you mad, but you can't really be mad. So
yeah, yeah, right. And I'm like, and he's like, I love you. I'm like, yeah, don't even try that. We're not we're not finished yet until we talk this out. No, he's just like, oh man, come on. I'm like, no, we're gonna finish this. So yeah, he does that, because he tries to say that, and then he'll say, I love you, and he'll come give me a kiss, and everything. I'm like, no, no.
it's like
We're gonna
it's like
we're gonna talk it out, yeah, and make sure. He's like, okay, yeah, so yeah,
that
but
might have
yeah,
worked the first time, but I'm over that.
you are correct. That was the honeymoon stage. So you are so you are so right.
Okay, I wanted to know because he makes it seem like it works every time. So I just wanted to
Oh,
verify.
come
Oh,
on, it works. Don't.
oh, Look at you,
we talk
honey.
it out.
So sweet. Oh, I love you. Bless your heart. Yeah. Yeah. I love my husband. Yeah. But no, that does. Yeah. No, that used to, but no. Yeah. I got a little bit wiser after that. So we're good though. But yeah. I know. I tell him, I said, yeah, you love me now, but yeah, let's see when we go to bed. He's like, okay, no, let's finish it. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Well, it's a good pause in it anyway.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
That is
but
so.
but
Oh my goodness.
but usually when we get in arguments, it's really not all that serious. It really isn't. I mean, we'll just kind of get under each other's nerves. But we talk it out. I mean, and that's natural. I mean, um,
Well,
you
I
know,
mean, I have a motto for that. I love you dearly. I just don't like you right now.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Yeah, take a minute to go ahead and relax. Yeah, exactly. You're not my favorite person right now. Just give me a moment, and I'll talk to you when when I'm ready, and we can discuss. And I
Mhm.
think pretty much I know a lot of our uh, when we used to have arguments was when he got ready to deploy, and when he got when he got ready to deploy, he was stressed, and
yeah,
he had to, and a lot of it was with stress. He is trying to get ready to go, and then he has soldiers that would go out before they weren't supposed to because they were getting ready to leave, and so he had to go and get them, and the stress. And so we would have. I mean, I think that's would be what a lot of our arguments.
yeah. That
We were just. I'm like,
I
what?
I
Yeah.
I would say that that's pretty much true. Most of our arguments was when I was deploying because of stress.
Hmm.
And I had trouble soldiers. There was some I had to get out of jail. I remember I was on my way to Iraq, and that's stressful. And I want to spend time with my family, and I can't because I got to take care of these guys doing the wrong thing and
Going out
getting them out of jail,
drinking, getting them out of
having,
jail, and
DUIs and all this stuff.
yeah, it was crazy.
And you know, and I would get stressed, and we would, and then my wife's stressed because she's got to take care of everything once I'm gone. So,
Mhm.
I mean, we'd have a little argument. I mean, we weren't at each other's throats or nothing.
Right. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think
we would, we would embrace each other afterwards, and we get through it. And
yeah.
I tell her I love her in the middle of it a few times to calm her down a bit.
Here we
And
go.
hey, let me tell my side of the story, okay? All right.
Okay,
No,
you got
but
3 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
all seriousness though, we always work through it. But I would tell her I loved her, and in the middle of it, and regardless of what she says, I think it did soften it. It did because she felt the same way I do. I love you. Yeah, we're angry, but we love each other.
You like to think it softened her up.
I mean, she'd do the same thing. Don't kid yourself. She would tell me that too. And then, yeah, I wasn't the only one. She talks tough, like, oh yeah, well, yeah, okay, whatever, we'll settle this. Okay, no, I wasn't like that. But to be fair, it wasn't that I said it and she melted in my arms either. So
Yeah.
So,
that happened later on.
would you say having a good sense of humor makes your marriage a little bit easier?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's some things you got to laugh at. Like we'd have silly arguments, and it's like we look back and like, why were we even arguing about this? Why did we even? What are we even talking about? There would be times we'd look at each other like, what are we even talking about? And we're like, I don't know. We'd like forget for a minute, like, what are we doing? Um,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
But I would say that you got to be forgiving. You got to understand each other. Yeah, we're going to get on each other's nerves. We have in the past, and we're going to in the future. Every once in a while, we'll just get irritated. That's just human nature.
Right.
Um, but we get through it, and it's fine. And the making up's the best part. So sometimes I like a good fight because we can
Yeah.
make up later. You know.
It brings to mind of starting a fight intentionally.
Yeah.
just
So
just cause.
I, we might have a little argument just so we can make up later. We'll talk about it. Oh, come on.
I love you. Yeah, I love you, honey.
Yeah. I love you too. I love you.
Love you too. Okay.
You're tapping on that nerve. You're
I
tapping on
know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. You guys are so sweet.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's been a long 28 years, so it wasn't as ticket. So it's been a long 28 years, but I cherish every moment. I cherish every moment, every second, every minute, every day. So it's and you gotta laugh, like you said, you gotta laugh sometimes, and with the arguments that we used to have, and we talked about that one time because we're like, wow, we're calm now, and and if we do have an argument, it's just like, okay, it's like now when we argue, we pause in between arguments. It's just odd, and so we'll go our separate ways for a moment, and then next thing you know, he'll be like, honey, what's the password for the get in? And I'm like, I don't know, look it up. So it just be like,
And then I say I love you, and she says, "Okay, let me find that for you."
Oh no, really? No.
hey, this is my story here.
Come on, are you kidding me? Yeah, okay, yeah. I'll let you have. Okay, I'll let, since this is your platform, I'll let you. Okay,
You're a part of it.
I'll let you have for now. But okay, I got you.
Okay, just agree with
wait
me.
Wait till we get off. Okay, that's right. Yes, we have some time to get there.
Now I'm in trouble.
Now you get out. Yeah,
you guys are so cute.
Well, we got another half an hour. Okay, you better be. No, I'm kidding.
Like, you gonna get it when we get off. Oh my goodness. So with everything with Sandy, you had to manage so much by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of support system did you have when Brett was gone?
I had my mom and my in-laws. So they would come down, visit with me and the kids. Sometimes, and my mom would take the kids for a little while, so I can have some time to myself to kind of,
mental health time.
There you go, exactly. And then my in-laws would come down. They would come down for stay a week or so. Due to the health of my mother-in-law at that time, because she was having some health issues, and so they would come down. And then I had support of my neighborhood, because the neighborhood that we were in, our husbands were gone at the same time, or they were in the same unit, and so we had each other. So I had a lot of a good support there, which helped me a lot, and the kids, they had their friends, which that helped out a lot, because with kids, we want to make sure that they stay busy and don't want them to concern with all the stuff that was going on. We try to protect our kids as much as we can, because of everything that's going on. So I had that. And so it really helped out a lot. And plus, when you have somebody to talk to, women to talk to that are going through the same things that or are aware of, that really helped out. So that got me through a lot of deployment. So I appreciate my friends that are, that are out there, so that helped out a lot. And line dancing. There you go. That was a good one. How to do line dancing in there. That's it.
So you learned a lot of line dances.
Yes, I did. We had, one of my friends was like, you know what, let's go line dance. I never did it. And I was like, no. And then, well, at the time, like, black people don't line dance. What are you talking about? We don't like it. So she's like, Sandra, come and try. So I did, and I liked it because it was fun, and then it got my mind off a lot of things. And then, actually it was a good workout too as well. So so yeah, so they that's what got me started in it. So I just had a lot of things I just wanted to kind of keep my mind focused, and just have a little bit of fun in between, to relax, and that helped out. That helped out a lot, And then my daughter, which was my oldest, she was about eight. Yeah, I think about 7, 8 at that time. She had a lot to carry on her shoulders. She grew up fast. So she grew up taking care of her brothers and her brother and sister, and also taking care of me almost at times, So she was my rock too at that moment in time. She really filled in. So, and that's what for her today makes her the great mother she is today, because. And I tell her, and I said, I knew you had to grow up fast, and I'm so sorry, and thank you for being there. She goes, oh, Mom, it's okay. I know. She goes, I know what you're going through. And she just really she helped out a lot. So
she was your right hand.
She really was. She took in, she was she was everybody's second mom at that time. And she too. But I appreciate her so much, and and the mom that she is today, as it shows when I see her with her babies and her holding the line. She's a tough cookie, boy. I was just like, wow, really? She's like, Mom, I gotta put, because I said, well, you sound like me back in the day. But yeah, she was
had
my
a
rock.
great role model.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. And it was rough, but we got through it though.
And a lot of things about military life. That's what you got. People don't realize the sacrifice. We think about the soldiers out there, but you got to look at the wife, the kids, stuff they got to do. It's not. It's tough. And and I will say this about my wife. Yeah, we've had arguments, but they are always silly stuff. It wasn't never nothing serious. And but when I was deployed doing my mission, my wife never complained. When I did what I had to do, she supported me all the way. There was no arguments, no nothing. Um, and there was times she had a right to argue and complain, and she didn't. And that's my wife's character. And she put the family first. She put me first, the kids first, and always has. And there's no wife like my wife. When God give me a wife, He give me the best of the best. He
Yes,
really
he
did.
did. I agree
And
wholeheartedly.
and we can, we joke and stuff, but my wife is awesome. She's my everything. And I don't just say it because she's on here. I'll say it when she's not here.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
he
and
does say it when you're not on, so I will give him that.
I do. No, and I mean it, because having a good wife is a blessing. And
She's a smart lady, because she let you keep your mind on what you were doing so you could come back
yes,
home to her.
and
Because
that
there's no point telling you all the petty stuff that's going on and make
mm,
you start thinking about all the stuff that she's going through. She has to help you keep your mind on what you're doing so you can come home.
That's right.
that that's true, and that's the reason I come home alive, because I didn't have to worry. I knew my wife had it. I know she held it down. I knew it was okay. And I knew when I come home, she'd be there with open arms. And I always look forward to that day. And when I came home, that was the greatest day of my life. I mean, seeing my wife and children, and and I embrace those times. And I love my wife so much. Just coming home from work, it's awesome. It really is. And
She's like, "What we're eating for dinner?" I'm like, "I don't know. Look in the fridge." No.
yeah,
Good night, almond butter. Thank you for being here tonight. So you have a good night. Thank you for being here on the
yeah.
show.
Good night,
Right.
almond butter. Good to see you.
Now, Sandy,
Hmm.
you basically became a general in your 20s. Did you ever felt like you didn't have an opportunity to find out, who you were, or you just knew who you were? Because a
As
lot of people don't know, I need to find myself. I don't know what I'm doing. Or I was always responsible, so I never got an opportunity to just, do me and be selfish. So I know, like, when you have a lot of responsibility on you, sometimes that that thing will sneak up in the back of your mind.
right.
So did you have those moments?
Yes, I did. For me, because I got married at 25. As my
Mhm.
mom always told me, she's like, do you before you do anything else, because when you get married or when you're with somebody that you love or whoever you're going to be with, it's not going to be all about you anymore. It's going to be you and your family, you and whatever that comes with it. So I took time out for, to get myself together, and you're right, to know what I wanted to do, to, figure out what I want. And that was good. So I went, after I graduated, I found a job. I saved up money. I traveled. Um, I did some classes, like I wanted to be in hospitality traveling. So I
Mhm.
went to a class in Florida, took a class there for hospitality, and I wanted to, work on a cruise ship. I had all these goals that I wanted to go ahead and do at that time, and so I went ahead and did that. Went ahead and lived in New Orleans, lived in Tech, Houston, went to Michigan, went to Canada. And so I just got all the things. I didn't get like everything I wanted to do, which was fine, but I did do
Mhm.
some of the things that I enjoyed to do before, because I knew after that, because then my focus would be on,
On
if
your
I want
family.
family. There you go. And so I
Mhm.
just got that all. And I tell my kids that. And I tell them, I said, you know, do you
Mhm.
have plenty of time. Go out there, enjoy. If you want to travel, if you want to, go to a different, I mean, do the things that you never done or try
Mhm.
to do. Just be free for a moment. Go out there, meet new friends. Like my daughter took a trip. I don't know, Brent probably took it. She took a trip to Belize. I was nervous. She was
Oh
fine,
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
excited. She
She.
saved up her money.
Mhm.
She, did payments and whatever. She really wanted to go. Got her passport and helped her get her passport and went to Belize with a group of people. She came back, loved it. Met friends, met new people, and she's like, now she's ready to go on another trip. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it's all about. I said, good, great, go ahead and
Yeah, she had a lot of awesome pictures of swimming in the ocean, sea turtles, and the different
Mhm.
exotic fish you see in the ocean. It
Mhm.
looked pretty cool. It was. I told my wife, I said we need to go somewhere tropical. We need to go to the Bahamas or something.
Try something. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Why
mean,
didn't go to St. Lucia?
yeah,
What is
somewhere.
that? Where's that place?
St. Lucia?
Oh, I've never heard of that. Where's that at?
It's in the Caribbean.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Mhm.
okay. I'll have to look that up. Oh, I'll have to look that up and see. But yeah,
The
I mean, yeah, it's,
pictures are
it's
gorgeous, and I think they have black sand there. I'm not sure.
oh, oh,
Oh,
wow, nice.
I know
That's
that
what.
Hawaii has black sand.
oh, is
Oh,
So,
that
okay.
the volcanic rock? Is it?
uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
I mean, I love swimming. I mean, uh,
My my ultimate goal is Tahiti. So one day.
one
Yes.
day.
Yes. Yeah. That'd be great. I mean, yeah. Do what you can, and then you're more, and then that just you're okay because you have no regrets.
Mhm.
You've done what you wanted to do and you're okay with it. So once you get to that point where you're fine and you're all right, and that's when you're more relaxed, then that's when you're okay. And then, keep continuing to do, what you want to do until that time. But you already have put yourself first, did what you want to do, and then go ahead and proceed that next path you want.
The situations you guys have been in have been um could be categorized as somewhat stressful.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that you guys do special to help relieve the stress?
Yeah.
Um, Pretty much we just we've been now we used to didn't travel a lot like we're trying to do right now. So
Mhm.
we try to take when he has 3 days weekends, we try to
Mhm.
go ahead and do that on his 3 day. Um and sometimes that we just try to get out of town and just kind of get away for a little while.
Mhm.
And do that. Or we just go to a movie and a dinner and and just sit in a movie and just and do that for a little bit.
Indeed. Okay.
And he likes to work out in the yard. That's a stress relief from him. And then I'm trying to get back into my crafting thing, so I had some crafting stuff I want to do, so that's another thing that I like to do to kind of do things. So but other than that, pretty much that's what we usually do. Is that's what we're looking at now, is when
Okay.
we stress, we just kind of get away. you
Do you
know
crochet?
I don't. I wish I did, but I don't.
That's my stress reliever because you
Oh,
can't
is
think
it?
about nothing if you're counting stitches.
There, I was going to say, and I know you're probably good at it because once you go ahead and you get going, it's
Yeah,
pretty much in. And by that time, when you're first with your pattern, you're almost, the time that you're going and you do it
you got
quick,
you got
you're
your
almost,
rhythm in place, and you
yeah,
just go in, and it's like okay, and then when it's time to stop, it's just like oh, okay, whatever it is that it was, it's gone.
that's very true. That's right.
Because if all you can think about is your stitches, you can't think about nothing else.
That's right. That's totally true.
Yeah. But I would like to say too, when we talk about stress reliefs and taking trips, I mean, when we didn't have much money, we would go we would take a drive, go get lunch, go to a park.
Hmm.
You know, back in the day they had dollar movies on base. We would do that a lot because it didn't take a lot of money and we could have fun. And me and my wife, we find ways to have fun. And back in the day, there were times we would just get some snacks and play video games and uh, just have our time together. It's not so much what you do; it's just spending time together. Um, I remember we would take walks and just go different places. Um,
Hmm.
we weren't always able to go places where we could spend money, but um, it just doing things together. You know, um, and that's what we do today. I mean, we like to travel, we like to go places, but sometimes we just, we'll go hang out somewhere.
So
You know,
when you guys were starting out, the did you have anything special that you would do that was just like a no cost type situation to just to have something to do together?
yeah, we would like I said, we would go places. We would just watch movies. There were places that we'd like to go take trips to. Um,
Hmm.
places we'd like to hang out. It just depends on what mood we're in. Sometimes we'd go climb up a mountain because we wanted to see what it looks like. Sometimes, they just whatever mood we were in. Sometimes we just sit on the couch and watch a good movie and wrap ourselves in a blanket, and it just
No.
Right.
Sandy, have you ever tried to make Brent do crafts with you?
Oh, yeah, that'll never happen. Yeah, that no. Yeah,
Oh, I will.
he
I,
oh,
I really would, but my job schedule with all the hours. Oh, she's not having that. Okay, but
You can tell those lies if you want to.
yeah.
we were because it's like, what are you guys doing? Because I had some. Well, my daughter was in dance, so we were always crafting or doing fundraisers. So we would
Mhm.
I would have to get things for them together because when they would do like their dances, or we would get their uniforms ready, or we would get stuff ready for, and we were just doing all this stuff. And it's like, well, come help me with this. He's like, I don't even know what to do. He wouldn't even know what to do with a glue gun. So if I gave him that, I would be so scared because my husband, I love him dearly, will glue his fingers together and then we really be in trouble. Okay. And then, and then we're doing rhinestones, and we're doing shakers. And he's like, yeah, I have him help fill the bottles because we used to make homemade shakers for the girls. So
Mhm.
I said, okay, I know you can do this, and put some in the bottle, and just do this and do. Yeah, he did that, and half the bottles were half empty, yeah. So I can say, okay, you tried. I'll give you an A for effort, and yeah, that's okay. We're good. So, yeah.
Okay,
Go be a
now
menace elsewhere.
Yes.
You have to like with him being that bad. You have to wonder if he was that bad on purpose.
I know. Yeah, that's right. Right. He's like, that's one way for me to go ahead and get out of it. Yeah. Okay. Just go ahead and do it.
the secret's
Yeah.
unveiled. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm getting it. Yes.
Not really. Okay. How many of you guys would like to come home and glue rhinestones to a cup and stuff, and bling everything? I mean, my daughters love it, but me and my son, man, it's just not a manly thing. I might glue my fingers together, but I can fix our cars. I'm a good mechanic. Um,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
know,
Um,
it was
I give him that. Yes. Yeah. I'll say that. Go ahead and fix the car, and then I'll do the rhinestones. So it won't be. He goes, I'll buy you the rhinestones, and I'll buy you all the stuff you need. But yeah, because I'm not going to do
and
it.
I do. I do. You're never short
So,
of rhinestones.
Brett, did you teach your daughters how to change their oil?
No, I didn't because they weren't interested.
Or at least check their fluids?
I think I tried a couple times. They're like, "Oh, okay, Dad, that's nice. Yeah, okay. Does it look good? Yeah, okay. No, but you need to check this."
Yeah. Now
Okay,
they
so you
know
had
now.
girly girls.
I do
Yes.
have girly girls. Yeah, they don't want to get their hands dirty at all. No. Yeah, yeah. In fact, they're glamour girls. Let me tell you something. Uh, if you've seen our bathroom, um, we could put Sally's out of business in a heartbeat. We got more supply than they do. When it comes from hair to beauty supplies to different combs and brushes, hair dryers, uh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and then my daughter's in the back braiding her hair, doing different hairstyles. Yeah. Um, but she does a good job. She really does. I mean,
Yeah, she does a good job.
she could probably make money doing that. And what's funny is, when her friends would come over and stuff, they taught her how to do that stuff. I don't know. Is that, but yeah, I think her braiding job is better than some of the ones you've had in the past.
Oh yeah, we
Oh,
won't go
Sandy,
there.
did you let your daughters practice on your hair?
Well, sometimes I do. I mean, I told my youngest, she's doing that. I said, you probably. She goes, well. she was like, let me get more practice in. I mean, I said, well, you do a good job. I said, that's fine. I said, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. Just practice. I know practice makes perfect. So you just keep going at it. And so, but yeah, she's like, no, let me wait. I think she's nervous. She won't do it. She's like, yeah,
She don't want to. She doesn't want you to be jacked up. That's what that is.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because you have fabulous hairstyles.
Oh, thank you.
And like I've seen some of the different ones when you've come on, and I'm just like, yeah, you have your style, and I want to commend you on upgrading your husband's wardrobe.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks.
You have him up here
yeah.
being snazzy.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I buy his clothes. He would come in. It's because I would see something. I'd be like, oh, this will look really nice on him, and I'll bring it, and he'd be like, what? Where did this come from? I'd be like, oh, I bought it for you. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, oh, now you brought it. I said, yes, because
Because the stuff that you're not thinking about, I'm always going to be thinking about.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you got that white jacket. We can get a black shirt. We can get a blue shirt. We can get a gray shirt. We can have different shirts. You just put on that white jacket and keep it moving.
That's right. There you go.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've upgraded. I have 2 suits. 5 or 6 new polos, new pants, couple new dress shirts. I mean, she'll go to the store and say, "Oh, this will look good on you. I'm getting this," and I'm like, "Wow."
Sandy got that song in her head. Let me upgrade you.
Right.
And I was just going to stick with the hockey jerseys because I like them. But she says, "You know what? Change it up."
That is because we know you can do better and be better, so we're going to make it happen.
There you go. That's right.
And that's just what that is. It's something that's built deep within us, and we cannot help ourselves. So
Right.
if we know that you can do something and be better, we're going to make it happen.
You're right.
Okay, so now you know who my wardrobe designer is.
And she does an excellent job. She needs to give her some extra anything, because she's doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I try.
Yeah. And she helps me design the studio here. These shelves she picked out.
I know that picture has to be all Sandy then.
Which one?
This of the dunes.
Oh, of White Sands, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She likes those different pictures and the section of pictures. That does look neat, though.
It is.
Yeah, that's of White Sands, New Mexico. I did a video on that, and it's really neat out there. The sand is white, and I go down there a lot. I like spending time there. Well, I grew up going down there. I spent a lot of time down there, so it's I know that area like the back of my hand. I mean, but I usually go in the spring and in the fall because it gets really hot down there.
Yeah, it gets really hot down there. Yeah, it does.
I mean, when it's like 102 here, it's probably 110 there. It's just
Wow.
But amazing is the sand don't really get too hot. That's the amazing thing about it. And maybe it's because it's gypsum. It's like crystallizes and the wind blows it apart to make real big sand dunes. It's really an amazing process how that comes to be. But yeah, I mean, and she picked out this desk here. This is a corner desk. It's got like an L shape, so I could put I got my computer here. My big monitor. We just got a 38-inch monitor that's real nice. But I could put a computer here and another one here. I could put I could probably put 3.
She gave you nice real estate.
Yeah, I could put 6 computers here if I really wanted to. It's real roomy and stuff. We're going to change the chair. My wife's already picking out the chair she wants, but I mean, this ain't just my studio for YouTube. She uses this to work in. She handles her business at work here, You know, she does conference calls and does her work here, and so it's you know it's in well use.
She has to
Um,
have enough space for her stuff as well as your stuff.
oh
And
yeah,
so she could just move it to this side and then she has her space.
yeah, and
Mhm.
there's plenty of room for all that. Um, you know, and we got ideas to upgrade this too even more. Um, you know, I want to later on hire an electrician to go through here and put lighting in here to where we can put different color lighting, make it brighter or dimmer. Um,
Hmm.
you know, I got ideas to improve this. You know, because YouTube, that this is my hobby I love, and regardless of how big it gets, or you know, I just love doing it. You know,
Good night, Corey. Have a good night. Thanks for coming up on our channel today.
yeah.
Night,
Good night,
Corey.
Corey.
I feel like I've monopolized you guys' time. I only came up here to ask 2 questions.
Everybody said that you're doing a good job as an interviewer,
Yeah,
and I believe
yeah.
that.
You
So
were,
you did a good job.
yeah. You got stuff out of us that I didn't really want to go into, like ex girlfriends and stuff, and um,
She has that voice. She has that voice that's very calming and soothing.
yeah. And then when I say
It's
I
called
love you, I want the image that she melts in my arms when I say that. Um, but
you know
instead,
on some level we did not believe you, right?
yeah, right.
But look, when you have over 20 years of customer service, you learned how to have a certain tone.
Yeah,
That's right. You sure do. Especially when you're talking to crazy people and customers. Yes, you do. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
Mm-hmm. Because even when I did tech support, they would just be like, I was pissed off when I called in, but now you haven't even fixed my problem, but I feel better.
That's right. That's new. That's when you know you did a great job. You're like, yes, I know. Okay, I know how to do this now.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and fix your problem.
Yes, there you go.
So yeah. But you guys are a blueprint of the kind of marriage most people want to have. And you are the epitome of partnership. And the way you talk about each other, you can see the love between the both of you. And we know that stuff is not always perfect because nothing
yeah,
is perfect.
Mhm.
But the
Right.
fact that you are willing to work through and and that you are important enough to one another that it is important that you work through. And
Right.
you can see God woven through it, but throughout your relationship because a lot of the things that he says that you should not do or you should do within your marriage, you can see you practicing it.
Mhm.
So you know that God is in your marriage.
mm,
Yes.
Um,
Thank you for those kind words, and you are correct, and we appreciate that. I mean, it's we um we try our best to work on a lot of that because we knew some of the feedback that we're going to get from a lot of things. So we, you have to kind of put those things in perspective to help you through a lot of it in the and like the questions that you're bringing up and the things that you were just saying just now. It took a while to get to because when you first starting out, everything is all new, and then you're trying to figure everything out, and you're trying to
mhm.
figure each other out and stuff, which is good, and that's just life going through everything. And then once you get to know each other, get it going, and all those things are woven in as you just presented right now. It just is a factor in our relationship and our love for each other.
How
You
do
know.
you incorporate God into your marriage?
Well, we pretty much now with God, I pray when I wake up and I pray when I before I go to bed,
Mhm.
and Brent has his channel where he does his channel with with the group like he has his praise group, and that's how we incorporated it, in our marriage. And so I'm a strong believer in that, because I believe every time that you wake up in the morning, it's always good to say a good prayer or a favorite prayer that you like.
Mm-hmm.
My mom always tell me, pick a prayer that you like, or memorize to get you motivated and to get you going and to help you, and that just soothes and calms you. And so and that's what pretty much I do. I get when I get up in the morning, I have a I have an app on my phone that goes
Mm-hmm.
through different prayers, uh,
Mm-hmm.
different things for the day and stuff like that to go ahead and help you out through your day. And I do that, and so and it makes me feel better. Sometimes all days don't go right, but it makes me
Mm-hmm.
feel that better, and I got that calmness, and I'm all right. And so
Do,
I do that every day.
do you guys have an actual like a study time together? Do you study the Bible together at all? Like doing a devotional or anything like that?
We'll read scripture together sometimes, and then we do pray together. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um,
There was some times when we couldn't get to church, when we couldn't find a new church home or a new church that we were going to, or couldn't find a church. We would do that on Sunday and just be us, and go through, and just go through some scriptural and stuff like that, or go through Bible and have like a nice Bible study and stuff like that, so we can keep that
yeah,
in. Because we did that when we first started, when we got married and stuff, because we were trying to find a church home and go through different churches and stuff like that. So that's what we started out with until we found a good church home to go to. So we did that, um, to get going and keep it, with us in between with our family. So
yeah, and sometimes, and we probably need to do this like on a regular, but a lot of times when we're hurting, we'll pray together. Um,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I hug my wife a lot when I pray, and there's been times I fall asleep hugging my wife. Um,
That's sweet.
and my wife is the most valuable person in my life. She's my treasure. And when I go, and my thing is, when I talk to God, I want my wife with me because God give me my wife. And I made the analogy like, our granddaughter, she'll come and spend time with me, and she'll have her little couch in here, and one day she said, she calls me Popo. She said, Popo, should I bring my toys? I said, yeah, go get your toys. Should I bring all of them? Yeah, go ahead. She brought all her toys and dumped them all out on the couch, and played with them, right? And she would talk to me, and and it's like a child. When a child loves you, they want to be with you, and they want their toy with them too. That's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing with me and my wife. She's a treasure to me, and I want my treasure with me when I talk to God. And that makes the prayer more valuable because there's nothing better than hugging my wife and talking to God. That's more that better than me praying by myself or us praying together. I and my wife will tell you, I I I gotta hug her. I hug her at night. I hug my wife all the time. I embrace her. That's just me. I just gotta.
yeah,
I just and
yeah,
I'm not a
he
touchy
That's
feely
sweet.
person with people, but with my wife, I am. You know what
Well,
I
you're
mean?
supposed to be touchy feely with your wife.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the
is.
one
I
person
know
you're
that.
supposed to be touchy feely with.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying is, there's some people that just like to hug everybody, or I'm
Yeah,
not
he's
like
got
that.
it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But with
not
my
till he.
wife,
Yeah,
I am. I,
yes.
I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
there's times I just want to come in, lay down on the couch with my wife, and put my arm around her. You know, it just,
That's nice.
it's. And when I sleep, I hug my wife all the time. That's just out of habit. And I don't sleep good without my wife because
That could be takes over the whole bed.
I do. I sleep wild too. But
He does.
yeah.
I'll be
can't
waking
help
up on the corner of the bed, and then we have a king size bed. And okay, you know how big a king size bed is. And then next thing you know, I'm here, and he's all
starfished.
Yes.
Starfished out. Does he hold the covers too?
Yes, he does. Thank you. Yes. It's like I'll have it, and he'll be rolled up like a burrito, and I'm just like, and he's like, "Honey, where are your covers? Oh, here you go." I'm like, "Well,
I'm mad about that. I don't know how I do it, but I roll myself up, and I'll wake up rolled up in and I
I went to bed warm and I woke up cold.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, I do sleep. I am an active sleeper, I guess you say. I move around in my sleep. And we got a king size bed because of that, but I still
you did.
At least you guys find peace in one another, because there's some people that can't find peace in one another, and those are the ones are not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Right. You got to have that. Yeah, you truly got to have that.
Michael Ray says Papo the burrito.
That's a nice slogan.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? My daughter made a thing. She made me this thing, and she's got her little Cricut that she does things, and she made me this glass thing with with my name on it. She said, "What'd she put? El Papo or something?"
Yeah.
It looks really neat. It's
Oh my goodness, you guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're awesome. You gave us that. You narrated the show. Awesome.
Sure did. Yeah, you did a good job. Yay.
Afro Angelique.
Yes.
Okay, but we gotta talk next time. Don't bring up old girlfriends. Well, she didn't. You did.
I didn't bring up old girlfriends. I just asked her how y'all met.
Oh yeah, and then
look, I asked her when she knew she fell in love with you, and that's when the foolishness came out. So
that's where it went. But yeah, because I think at that time she knew I was committed, that I was serious, and and from that point, it was smooth from here on out. There was no craziness. When I married my wife,
got all the drama out in the beginning.
and we did, and that's true. And once I married my wife, there was no more craziness. We both took our vows seriously, and that's why we have a good marriage, because we understand the value in each other. Because without each other, we're not as good alone as we are together. Because and when you come together as one, your spouse is more important than anybody else. My wife is the most important person in my life. No, and I'm serious. Nobody is more important than my wife. Period.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Not even my own kids. And I love my children. I do anything for them. But my wife is top of the. She's the most important.
The head honcho.
Yeah, she's
the lady in charge, queen bee of the house.
Well, okay,
And Brent, you can say that you're the king, and you might be the head, but she is the neck, and the neck turns the head.
Oh, okay. That's right. Oh, I never heard that. Okay.
There you go.
So that puts me into a figurehead status.
I hate to tell you this, but that's kind of what it's been like.
Yeah.
She just
There you go.
she's so good at what she does that she gives you the illusion that she lets you have the illusion that you're in charge.
That's it. She's doing a good
Yeah, 'cause
job.
he knows because he's like, how do he goes, how do he goes, I said no last time. He goes, and now you just made me say yes. He goes, how do you do that? I'm like, I just how it
It's
works.
a gift.
She plays on my heart. She knows I got a weak heart, and she plays on that. She's like, okay, I love you. What do you want?
You just have to give up and let her have her way because you can't win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Big hug and a lot of kisses does the trick.
Hmm.
Yeah, it does. I ain't going to lie. You got me there.
Oh my goodness, you guys. It must be a riot when when everybody's around and you guys get to share stories and things of that nature.
Oh yeah. You know what? When our kids are home, I tell you, there's some stories we could tell you. Um, you think me and my wife are, a riot. You got to see our kids. Oh man, the
Yeah,
stories I could tell you.
especially you and Brittany. Yeah, when you guys get together and get to rolling, that's another. Yeah.
Oh yeah, me and my oldest daughter, we pick on Sandy, but she punishes me later. But uh,
As she should. As
my
she should.
my daughter's a daddy's girl, so we're just
Yeah, but
we're
the person that gets ganged up on gets to have retaliation.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
most definitely. Yeah. And then it's when it's them two, and then my other daughter, she charms in, and then with my son's here, he backs it up and he laughs, and then he gets it too. I'm just like, really, y'all are. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
we
supposed to cook and feed you guys. Okay, I got something for you. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
that's
I got something for
fine.
yeah.
No
You got
problem.
that's my phrase.
Yeah,
That's okay. Yeah, go ahead and do what you want to do. I got something
that's right.
when you least expect it. That's when you'll receive it.
oh uh,
That's right. You're right.
Akeda, the dating game. Hey, today's Sunday. Let's shoot for. You guys want to shoot for Friday on the dating game?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Friday. Now, look, if people don't participate, it's not me. We're going to try it Friday. Um,
You just have to make sure that your age ranges are in the right
yeah.
people in the right age range. And if I'm not a contestant, I will gladly help you host.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
it,
That'd be nice.
even if the ages are a little off, we're not actually dating. Um,
It's basically not a date. Basically an introduction game.
yeah, but yeah, no, we need to have age appropriate because I don't need a 60-year-old with a 20-year
That's
old.
one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I've been saying that, but we'll try to put
And
it together. Um,
and if you have Corey as the main contestant, you're gonna have to have a couple rounds for that one.
yeah, we'll have the daily double and the sudden death round, and we'll have a
Oh,
Have people eliminating themselves.
yeah,
are we gonna have Michael Ray in there too as well? Is he?
Um, my,
yeah. I
I,
think he'll come on.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
Says
think
they want to see Michael Ray find true love, huh?
yeah.
yes. And his voice is so awesome. So you'll
That'll be
have
Yeah,
people tuning in just for the voice.
there. You go. That sounds like fun.
and what I've heard from Michael Ray, I think he would the woman that gets with him will be treated like a queen. She will be loved and treated really good. I see it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Um, with when you guys were dating, did you experience the looks of
yeah.
do you know how long it maybe took you to how long it took you to to stop, just to ignore it, to not even
Um,
pay it any mind?
I will say for me, it wasn't even an issue because I dated interracially since I was 16,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, when I met my wife, I was 24. So I mean, I got those stares way back in the day when I was dating, so it was like nothing to me. I didn't even notice it. In the beginning, I mean, my wife don't notice it now anyway. We're just living our best life. But in the beginning, I mean, she would notice the stares and the dirty looks, and sometimes
Just
she
get
pointed out to me like, "Hey, these people are looking at us weird, giving us dirty look." Who? What? What are you talking about? But my mindset was, I don't care. Let them look.
right.
I'm with my wife. I love my wife. I mean, I'm not ashamed of that. I'm proud of that. I got an awesome wife. I mean, um, and that's my thing. This really irks me when it comes to interracial relationships. People that hide it, that have that, they're kind of ashamed. But there's some white guys that date black women but kind of hide it. I'm like, why? And there's some black women that do the same thing. They'll be with a white guy but keep it on the down low. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Be proud of who you're with. You love that person. Don't be ashamed. It's like when we talk about Christianity. If you're a Christian, don't be ashamed of it. Embrace it. It's a beautiful thing. It's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I always felt that way. I embrace my wife. I got a good wife. I'm proud of my wife. She's beautiful. She's smart. She's got it together. Why would I try to hide that? No, I'm on share. I'm going to tell my life story. I'm going to share my blessing, and it just drives me crazy that some people will worry about what others think, and not be focused on who they're with. That to me, it just drives me crazy. I just want to just kind of put people in the chokehold for that. Like, why are you, stand up, praise her, tell her she's beautiful, you idiot. Okay,
It's the thing about
I'm
it is
on a
that if
rant.
you're gonna date interracially, you have to have a thick skin. You can't care about what other people think.
That's
That's
it.
true.
That's it.
That's right. You
Yeah.
said it right. You said it right. And yeah, I would get the looks. Sometimes I would get the looks, and sometimes I would get thumbs up because even if I was him, the girls, some of the black girls would be like, and do that, and some of them would, be curious and ask questions, which is fine. But yeah,
Mhm.
I did. Yeah, I get the stares, and I just ignored it and just went on because at the end of the day, it's me and him, not everybody else. Because you don't know these people, and you're not in my group or you're not in my circle, so you're not. What you look at and what you're thinking is totally irrelevant.
Yeah, you're not paying my bills. You're not influencing my life. I don't care what you think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. So that has, what them looking is like, okay, we'll keep looking. If you're in the shock and awe moment, and it's just like, and pretty much
Suck
back
it up.
then, that was the thing, because you didn't just see it a lot,
Hmm.
like we seeing it now. Now, I mean,
You see it
it's,
more now.
there you
It's
go.
and it's,
Back in
it's more like, don't hate me because you can't be me.
yeah, there you go. Back in '94, this is '94, and it's like you didn't see that, but
You
everybody was
saw
just
it,
like,
but you didn't see it.
yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
a concept. It just wasn't a reality.
There you go. Exactly. And it's, but now it's totally different thing. It's just like, wow, everybody's, you see it, and everybody's, I'm like, wow, that's nice. And when they see us like in the store, and like we saw older couples,
Hmm.
Yeah.
in their 60s or 70s, and we're like, wow, okay. They were just like enjoying themselves, didn't care. I mean, they were just with each other, and I mean, it's just, we just saw that. We're like, wow, that's
And,
awesome.
and that was neat because they were checking us out too.
I
Like,
know
and
they were.
they waved to us like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm in a special club.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, and it was neat to see an elderly couple like that, and
Yeah.
we've been seeing more of that too, and I think people are opening up their options because sometimes you get in that age and they'll lose a spouse, and I
Mhm.
talked to this one couple. This lady was saying that she
Mhm.
married a white guy, and and she was in her 60s, and he was in his 60s, and they were both widows and never had the interracial thing, but married each other later
Mhm.
on in life because they lost their spouse. And and I think that's a good thing, that people are starting to see each other as people, as equals. We might not look alike, but we're people, and we can love each other. And that to me is an awesome thing. And I like seeing younger people out there. I like seeing millennials open up their options and stuff. And I would just say to them, do it the right way. Don't do it out of hurt and anger. Do it because you love each other. You do it for that reason, God will bless you. If
Yeah.
you're doing it because it's a fad and it seems like the thing to do at the time, or you want to know what it's like, or you're angry, no, I would say don't do it then. But if you love each other, hey, more power to you. And I support interracial uh relationships in every combination, men or women. I don't look down on black men that date white women because I would be a hypocrite. you
Mhm.
know I just pray that they do it the right way, as anybody should. I know some guys that white guys that date white women but don't like to see white guys with black women. I'm like, what's that? That's silly. That's You're a hypocrite.
Basically. Um.
But anyway, I mean, I can go on and on, but I support love with whoever, as long as you do it the right way.
All right. So I have a my question for this is from my point of view because I recently had a date with a white guy,
Hmm.
and I'm his first black girl and he's my first white guy.
Hmm.
And we went out, we went to a store and we were acting silly, and we were getting stared down by these a group of black ladies.
Mm.
And he asked me, he said, "Why do people hate to see black women and white men together?"
Mm.
And I'm just like, probably because we're the most hated combination, but I really don't know.
I
So did you guys have an opinion on that?
um
People hate
I,
to see people. How can I say it? I know you might have the right word for it. I can't put the right word on my tongue because I kind of know, because either you're in that time where people either don't like to see that, or
Mhm.
they don't like change. Okay,
mm,
that's a big thing. People don't like change.
Mhm.
A lot of things are probably going through their head of why is she with him, and what's up with that, and whatever. But you just don't, you don't owe anybody any explanation. They're not in your. They just for us as women, black women, is we don't owe anybody any explanation for what we do with our lives. We choose. That's your option. you know
Mhm.
that's your decision. So we shouldn't have to you know just base it on that, or how they look. I mean, what, as for me, is as well, I, because sometimes I'm a little bit sarcastic on things. And I
You,
probably would have
we
grabbed his arm, or just kind of look at him, and I
we we speak the same language. I
yeah.
think that we would get along very well because I speak sarcasm fluently,
mhm.
and so for I didn't actually he noticed. I didn't know it because I wasn't paying them any mind
That's right.
because I was focused on him.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we were just because we were having a good time. We were just
Mhm.
laughing and like I noticed like when we left the store, like the lady came in with her daughters, and she cut her eyes. But he noticed in the store there was some other black ladies, and they were staring him down, like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, and
Yeah.
since it's new to both of us,
Right. Right.
so it's
And,
like,
well, it goes back to what you said. You have to um, have that thick skin, and
mhm,
as far and see, and that was with me, vice versa. Like with you and your date, Brent never know. I did. Brent didn't notice none of that. He just would just go on his mirror. I would, because I would see it. And and the same thing that happened to you in the store happened to me too as well. I would be the first one to see it. And so that's when my sarcasm kicked in. And so that's when, when we were dating,
mhm.
we were dating. So yeah, I would grab his arm, I would hold on to him, and then so if you're looking at me like that, I'm gonna give you something to look at, because again, you're not. I don't need your approval. You
Mhm.
know, yes, I am. Whatever, and it's like we're the when they see us with white men, it's like, oh well, you have that, you have those different words. Oh, you're one of those, or you're with him, and why, and really you can't. I mean, we that's some of the things that go through their mind when they're looking at you. Yeah, it's as long as you were enjoying him and you're making him feel comfortable out of that, I think that speaks volume. Because anybody that looks at you and you're good with going out, and he's like probably just worried about what's going on, because that's your guys' first date. Is that your guys' first date, if I'm
It was like
correct?
the first, like we have been we. It's ironic because we met at met at his brother's wedding,
Oh, okay.
um,
Nice.
and it was like our first time like hanging out.
Hmm.
And ironically, his brother got married to a black woman.
Mm. Wow. Okay.
So
Nice.
Right. So yeah, I mean, so maybe that, because you're good with, um with going out, dating, just having fun, getting to know him. And so
mhm.
times when that happens, that's, a good time for you to be like, you know what, don't even worry about that. They
I
just looking at us because they know we're a good kid looking couple, things like that, of that
that
nature.
I think that's what was my attitude, was like that, because I was just like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. We're gonna do what we're gonna do, and we just gonna
Right.
laugh and have fun and keep it moving.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, and
Yeah.
it's ironic. It's look, I met him what, 2 weeks after you guys' anniversary.
Hmm. Oh,
No,
did you really?
not even, no. It's like y'all's anniversary is on the 19th, and so
Mhm.
we met on the 28th.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool. Nice. Nice.
So
Well, that is nice. Well, well, so did the first date went okay?
it was fun. Yeah,
Good. Good.
because
That's
Nice.
our schedules are so hectic. We really can't like have a sit down or whatever. And we had to run errands, so we just ran errands together.
oh, okay. Nice. Nice.
And I introduced him to my favorite grocery store. Um, he's
There
like,
you go. So if he needs to go pick up groceries, he knows where to run into you at, right?
yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, oh, these prices are a little bit better. Yes, that's like, uh-huh. And we both love BJ's, and so we were having a good old time.
Mhm.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, BJ's is good. Yeah. We like that place too as well.
So yeah, and the one thing I do really like about him is that he contacts me every day, no matter what.
Oh,
I've
nice.
never had that happen before.
Oh, that's
Hey,
good. That's a
he's
good thing.
interested in you. I used to contact my wife every day, and we'd spend hours on the phone. And back then we didn't have cell phones, and I'd be on my dad's phone. He said, "Son, how long you going to talk to her? Why don't you go drive over and see her?" I mean, seriously.
It's like you
I
blocking
mean,
up my phone.
yeah, it's like, and it was one phone for the house, so it was like,
Was
Okay,
it
get
before call waiting?
yeah. In fact, those were the good old days when you could call someone and harass them. They didn't know who you were.
I know that's
I mean, I remember, being in high school and middle school. We'd get on the phone and just have fun, crank calling people and messing
right.
with them. And I mean, I remember calling the principal and giving her a hard time, and she didn't know who it was, and it was funny. And it was the good old days. You can't do that now, though. They know who
Yeah,
you are.
that's right. That's true. Yeah, they know who you are now. Somebody had a question of let's see here. How do you protect your precious relationship with your husband from outside negativity influence? Well, I pretty much don't.
Pay attention
Well,
to it.
yeah, I really don't. When we were first dating and got married through our dating and honeymoon, as everybody says, that's when I would protect. Like Miss Angelique was saying about her date that she went when she went to store, things like that of that nature. If I would be paying attention to, but he wouldn't. So I just would not bring it up at all because it was just it was no purpose for it because people are going to go ahead and say, well, I don't see those people, I don't talk to them, I don't have anything, those people are going to be in distant memory at all. So later on I would tell them, because when we would have talks and we were talk about certain things, and I didn't tell him. He's like, well, I didn't notice that, really, that was gonna. And so I just really didn't do anything, because if there was anything negative, anything or anybody come up and said anything, I was ready to go. That was my thing. I was ready to take on that because I felt like I don't owe anybody any explanation or anything at all if they didn't like what they were seeing or anything. So as far as them with the outside negativity, I just didn't bother with it, because it doesn't mean anything to us, or doesn't have anything to do with us. They can talk all negative they want. It's not going to hurt our family whatsoever, because we're going to keep it moving. I have been. And so I just would never say anything about it, you know.
Mhm.
So
What I notice is that he gets upset for me. Like he's more upset for me than I am about myself. I'm just
hmm,
like, I don't care. They can be about
right,
their business.
right. Yeah.
Uh,
And that
he
and that's good, because then
he's
that
in protection mode.
there you go. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
You're welcome.
That
Thank you.
Hmm.
that is unique for me. I'm like, I don't know what that like. And when we went shopping and I was bringing he was like, I need to bring your bags in, right? I'm like, but I can do. He's like, you have me here now, and I'm just like, well, all right then.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Let him do those things. And you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so we've been in that, we don't know when to go, like, oh, okay, and like my husband my husband, he'll do the same thing. He'd be like, let me do that, and I'm like, no, I could do. He's like, really? I'm like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
sometimes, and then that's okay. It's not like you're weak or anything else like that. It's just that he wants to do something for you because
Yeah.
he wants to do it for you. That's just,
Yeah.
he's showing that he respects you. That's what he should do as a man, or how he was raised
Mhm.
Mhm.
to do for, women. That, because I always taught my son, I was like, if you go on a date, you open the door.
Mhm.
You go around, you open the door. You don't honk when you're coming up to get
Oh
somebody
no,
at a date. That's a
yeah.
big negative. You go to the door, you present yourself, you shake hand, eye contact. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, pick them up from the front door, walk them to the car, open up the door. That's what you do. Help, and so that's what I taught my son to do. He's a man. That's what he's supposed to do. and that's how he shows respect for, women that he's going to date. That's how you do it. Anybody comes up in the door and honks and stuff, no, we got a problem.
Who does that?
And
I mean,
waving and all
people,
this stuff, and texting now. Okay, I'm here. Come out. No, we don't do that. Come on, get your butt out there and meet people, meet the mother, meet the father, show respect. Hi, how you doing? That's what you do. So, and it seems like that's, yeah, have them do that. Because you deserve that. That's
yeah.
just, yeah.
And sometimes technology with that, with the texting, that
Hmm.
you know, y- I don't know. I have a problem with some of the new things. I mean, I'm just stuck in my ways. But the online dating and stuff. I think it was
It's
just
straight
more
foolishness.
personal when you had to approach that lady that you thought that you were interested in. You had to have the courage to talk to her. You had to look her in the eye and talk to her. You had to, present yourself. And that sometimes you get rejected, sometimes you wouldn't. But that was part of it. And when she said yes, you felt really good about it. You go on the date and then you have a second date, then it's like your spirits are uplifted. Then you're thinking, okay, what does she think? Um, you know the the excitement of it, like, and it was more personal. It was more, I don't know. I just um it was like there was excitement in it. And you didn't I think today, in today's world, with the dating thing, the online dating thing where people get hits and stuff. And I heard one guy say this, and I believe it to be true to a point where some people will get a lot of hits from women, think, oh, well, and they get on a date, they're saying, well, if she turns me down, I got all these others to choose from, which really can be uh, a false sense of, are they really into you?
But
You might think more highly of the value you have than you actually have. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
it makes sense
Um,
because it's like you have all this interest, but when you go and you look, people will look and say that they're interested, but if you actually approach them, they're not really that interested, or you don't
yeah,
have chemistry.
yeah. But when you're on that date, you find out.
Yeah.
You have to interact with that person. And when I approached my wife, I was nervous. I stuttered. I was um, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And even when and we talked and we had that chemistry, it felt great. I was like, oh, this is
Mhm.
awesome. And then I asked her for a number. No, that's okay. Why don't you give me yours? I was like, really? I mean, I
She
mean,
had to protect herself.
yeah, yeah, but I didn't see it that way. I'm like, oh, okay, I know where this is going. Because usually when, back in the day, when you asked a young lady for her phone number, if she says, well, why don't you give me yours? That meant, no, you can't have mine, but you can give me yours because I'm going to turn you down in a nice way. So
At
that's
least
what
she didn't give you a bad phone number,
Right.
yeah, right.
because she could have gave you the number to time, because that was a good one.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was a good.
yeah.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
right.
Because I used to give out that number.
Yeah, you have that number all the time. Yes.
So
The
what's your
weather today is, yeah.
pretty
It
much.
would be, it would
So
be bad
you
because
had a better chance with her taking your phone number than you did with her giving the phone
right.
number out, because she may not necessarily, but
Yeah,
she might have transposed two numbers.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There you go. Exactly. Yep.
and
Yeah.
yeah, that it was crazy. I knew it was meant to be because that night I was so intoxicated, and it was a crazy night. And I don't know what happened that night. I still talk to my friends. I said, what happened when I met Sandy? They're like, oh, you were acting crazy. You were doing, I'm like, really? And I don't know if they're just making, teasing me or being funny, or I really did these things. I don't know. But I do know this. When I approached Sandy, I remember everything about it. I remember it was clear as day. It was like everything was crystal clear. And I remember what we talked about. And, I remember her friend coming up that I knew years before I knew Sandy. And the conversation we had that night, I remember it uh, point for point. And, we talk about the ex girlfriends, and you got to understand, with me, I was in a transition. I went from being crazy and doing, hanging out with my friends and doing crazy stuff to settling down and getting my priorities straight. I was in a transition. I really was. And my wife helped me pull, transition into being a husband and a father, and, you know, and, that was just where I was at in life. I was wild and crazy, and, but Sandy was the blessing, that night, and it changed my life. It really did. Um, yeah, Akita, God helped me out. Yeah. Um, but I
So
remember that, and I cherish that. And when she called me back, at first I didn't know. Okay, who's this? Oh wow! I was
she
like
actually
amazed.
called.
She called me. Like what? And we had that first date, and we walked around the park in my neighborhood. It wasn't the best neighborhood. We probably shouldn't have done it, but I don't know. That was home.
I
Uh,
mean, I knew the neighborhood. I mean, it just have. I mean, I knew where the neighborhood is, but we
yeah,
just, yeah, this have. I haven't been around because I had friends that used to live there. Well, no, I
Mhm.
take that back. I have my brother used to live over there in that area, and so, and I used to, so I was familiar with the area. So, because I
yeah,
used to always go down there and pick up my niece and nephew, so I was familiar with the area. But yeah, it's yeah, but yeah, it
yeah.
was.
It wasn't the best neighborhood. In fact, my dad and stepmom would say, "Oh, Sandy coming over. Why don't you go outside and watch for her?" Like they were worried
Amen.
about her safety when she come over. Um, but I mean, and what was crazy is, we lived in a rough neighborhood, but my dad made plenty of money. We were an upper middle class family living in a lower middle class neighborhood. Does that make sense? Because you
Mhm.
got to understand, my dad didn't have no money when he bought that house. So that's all he could afford, and he never moved out. That home was home, and he's stubborn. There's crazy stuff that goes on. I said, Dad, why don't you come move up here with us? It's nice up here. The neighborhoods. It's quiet. The crime rate is real low, and like, no, this is home. He just won't. He's in his 70s
Stuck in
now.
his own ways.
That's yeah.
Okay, I have a. Okay, so I really like this guy,
Uh huh.
but he hit some red flags for me.
Uh huh.
So it's like when I first started talking to him, I was like, I'm marriage minded, and
Yeah.
that's what that is. He's like, I've never thought about getting married. So I was like,
Mm,
eh. But like the last time, within the last week or so, he was like, if I did get married, I could see myself married to you.
hmm.
So I'm like, huh.
Maybe he's feeling more comfortable with you. Maybe it was a defense mode to say I never thought about getting married. Um, I don't know. Maybe he don't want you to know that he thinks of you that way. I don't know. I would have to talk to the guy to see where he's at. Um, I mean, it could mean any, but I mean, for him to say he didn't think about it, but he could see it with you.
Hmm.
Maybe that's a hint. Like, hey, you can be my wife. And I know when we were dating, I kind of hinted to my wife, it'd be nice, what do you think about marriage, With she's shaking her
So
head,
Sandy,
it's
you're
true.
laughing. So what about them hints?
Yeah, it was at first because it was at first. I was like, okay, but let's get to know each other a little bit. But you just have that risk because when when it comes out like that, it's like, okay, well, hold on for a moment. Let's just, because for me, I was thinking about marriage, but I was at that time, this wasn't ready, or wasn't, I know I was just in a lot of my feelings at that time with
Mhm.
everything going on. And um, especially with my mom. And then and like I said, with my dad passing, I was just in a lot of uh, just emotional things going on right now. So the way I thought before, it was just hindered of what I was thinking now. And so, and I think um when we start dating and talking, and then we start talking about marriage, and I think for me, I was just like, are you really ready to get married? Because if you want to get married, this is, we're, it's a whole different story. It's going to be us. And and our parents were telling us, well, when you guys get married, you got to be careful, because people are going to come at you, so you just have to make sure that you're ready and you're going to be okay. I'm like, okay, as long as we got each other and we're good with it, okay. And so, but I think sometimes with that is, you know, uh, you're just starting to get to know each other, talk more. And, maybe you might go ahead and change his mind or whatnot. And I think with, you guys are starting out now is good, because just get to feel each other out, see where he's at. A little bit of questions are, with that, are a little bit early, but just get to know each other, and you just never know. Let me just put it right there, because
I'm too blunt for my own good right now.
yes.
So because my thing's like, do you have a relationship with God? Can
Mhm.
you see yourself being married at any point in time? And it's just like,
Yeah.
these are things I need to know.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, and it's, and like, get to know them. That's what with us, when we first start dating, I think after, what would you say, babe? Maybe about 6 or 7 dates in, then that's when we started asking some of those questions of how, what we were
Yeah.
looking for, kind of, because
Mhm.
we wanted to get to know, okay, what's your favorite color? Green. All right. Well, what do you like to do? Roller skate. I mean, we're doing this stuff back and forth to kind of, you know, feel each other out, to see what's going, and oh, I
Yeah.
mean, stuff like that. And then that's when, I think around that time we just were like, okay, so what do you feel about this, and what do you feel about that? Because as I think sometimes with people, they want to um, get to know you and kind of feel you out too, and how you feel and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's steps,
It's
Yeah.
baby steps, and he's gun shy because he's been that nice guy that girls take advantage of.
Mm,
Oh,
So
maybe that's why he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna get married, because maybe some young lady says, "Oh yeah, yeah, let's get married," and maybe led them on and used them and then dumped them. Um, we talk about men doing that to women, but there are women that do that to men, that will use men for, you
yeah,
know for whatever. And maybe he had to deal with that. Maybe that's um I mean, I would, I mean, I can't say whether he's this way or that way, but
mhm.
well,
there's a lot
what
of
I
open
what I
questions.
know
Yeah.
what I know
Okay.
of him, he's a
Uh-huh.
very good man. Um,
Okay.
and I with he's revealing his layers. So
Well, okay.
Oh, okay.
um,
And,
it's
and
he's very open to me because I'm very open to him.
Hmm. Okay.
yeah. Well, that's how our relationship went. When we got on more dates and got more comfortable with each other, started having feelings for each other rather than just, hey, it's a date and we had a good time, to where, hey, I love being with you. This is awesome.
Yeah, because it's
Um,
just like, we're gonna be friends, and that's it.
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
And I don't want nothing but friendship. And if something else pops off, then we'll have to reevaluate.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Do you? do you, like um, like she said right here, listen to your female intuition as well. Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
Mhm.
go do it at your, at your pace that you feel comfortable, and as he's feeling comfortable, because once you go ahead and you do that and you listen and you're listening, and you're right, we got our keywords in our head of, little red flags or whatnot,
Mhm.
but some of those red flags that we have off too is that we're gonna go ahead and try to get that red flag of a question to answer that red flag that you have, or kind of feel it out with that red flag. You know what I mean? You have
Mhm.
that way of just knowing how to go ahead and do that. So for you,
And
to get that,
it doesn't help.
back, yeah,
Chemi-
exactly. You better understand. So yeah.
yeah, and it really doesn't help that the chemistry is off the chain because I kind of want to climb him like a tree.
Mhm.
So it's it's hard. It's like mm, we can't be alone together. That's not conducive for anything good.
Right.
Um, so
No,
we
right.
know that.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's go to places that that you can talk and have fun, and your limits, and your line that you don't cross, that you're not going to cross, or
Hmm.
and vice versa. And so yeah, I mean, yeah, you do I mean, exactly what you want, and you know exactly what to do. So you know stand by it and go by it, and it seems like he understands, and you let him know nicely, and
But men understand, but men like to push.
yes, and we feel it, and we push back. So yeah.
So it's like, yeah, no
Mhm.
dresses or skirts, and keep it keep
Yeah,
it moving.
that's right. That's right. Exactly. Yep. Keep it going. You know. You, and I mean, it's like, it's like I said before, it's like, if it's if he asks like what you like to do or what you want to do, go ahead and let him know what you like to do, where you want to go. Like you said, this is the grocery store you like to go to, places like that. You set the tone, and if he follows, because he's getting to know you a little bit more better, and that's
Mhm.
what it's all about, is to feel them out, and you're in places that you're comfortable in. You're in places that and stuff like that. So you're always protecting yourself, and safety, and and because he's married to part of your family on your end. Is that right too as well?
It's like a distant one of our distant relative one my distant relative married his brother.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
it's not like we haven't met before. It's
Mhm.
just um the first time that we ever met and we locked eyes, there was something, but he was going through something, so it wasn't like a good space for him.
Good time. Yeah.
And then this time it was just like, well, all right then.
Right. There you go.
Okay.
Second.
Well, all right.
second second time might be the charm there too. So yep.
It was
Yep.
like,
The second time around.
Yep, exactly. So,
Yep.
well, I wish you the best of luck. And it seems like, you got your steps in a row, and that you know what you're.
it's just, it's hard when somebody starts looking at you like you're prey or something. So it's like he's like, you can't look at me like that. I need you to turn that off, please.
Right.
Right.
That's a little bit too intense.
Yes. You're trying a little bit too hard. Relax.
That's it. Yeah. Uh,
But
We got plenty
yeah,
of time. Plenty of time.
yeah. So but you guys, thank you for providing insight,
oh,
and
thank
thank
you.
you for inviting us into your love journey.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure. Well, thank you for the great interview today.
Yeah, thanks. This
I
was not planned, but it worked pretty
It
awesome.
worked out. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
did
Um,
I had no intention of this turning it into what happened, and it just flowed like it was.
You
eh,
did a good job.
I can
yeah,
only say that that's nothing but God. So
yeah,
Right.
and yeah, and I'm glad you came up. This was really fun tonight, and I would say to everybody, when you go into a relationship or marriage, do it the right way. Make sure you love that person, because you know what, you're going to have your ups and downs. But if you truly love each other, you'll get through anything. Me and my wife got through anything. I mean, and we really, we laugh about arguments we've had, and but you really, it hadn't been that drastic. A lot of the stuff we argued was like silly, we irritate each other type stuff. But we never hold a grudge because we know we love each other, and we love each other more than our problems, more than what society puts out there, more than the haters. um it's about us. It's about me and my wife in our life. We chose happiness, we chose love, and we benefited from it. We're blessed, you know and I want to show this part of our life, because we're human, we have our issues. We do. um we go through the same things that other people go through every day. And what sets me and Sandy apart is we took our marriage vows seriously, and because we knew what we wanted at the end of the tunnel. We wanted success. We wanted to build a good marriage, good family, and we were strategic. We looked beyond the feel good hookup moments. We went for the marriage. We went for the true love. And
Mhm.
that's where your mindset's got to be. And you got to pick someone that's in the same, uh, has the same values as you, wants the same things. That's the key there. That's something. And but I just want to show a positive. You can have a good interracial marriage, and it can be successful. There's a lot of people. There's people we know that have successful interracial marriage, and we talk. And you know what? What's funny is a lot of the stuff we go through the same things. We irritate each other. We go through this. Um, we're human. We're people,
Hmm.
and the beautiful thing is we can be better than what we are, and we are when we have true love.
Yeah.
But
And thank you for being a shining example of true love.
oh, thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
And
Feel-
Sandy, thank you for coming on this month and agreeing to do a once a month show, because you are awesome and you enhance everything.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you so much. I know my husband's like Sandra, and I'm just like, okay, because at first, I'm not, I'm very shy when it comes to. I was like, I can't do this. He's like, yeah, you can. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, let me, yeah. So it was really nerve wracking, but now that I do it a little bit more, it's coming more comfortable, and you guys make me feel comfortable and make me feel so welcome when I come in. So it's it's nice, and so and I appreciate you guys for just making me feel comfortable and talking to me in the nice comments you guys always make. It's sweet. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, and we joke Brent about it. She's like, Sandy is going to get you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, you need to go to sleep. Sandy's going to get you.
Yeah.
I know,
and,
right?
and we had those talks. And see, babe, it is addictive. We've been on 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and it's
know.
like
And I need to get to bed so I can get up in the morning and go to work.
it's like,
'Cause
Brent, are
Yeah.
you elevating
I
your
got
foot?
2 meetings in the morning, and
Huh?
I'm like, oh crap, I
Like,
need to go to
are
work.
are you elevating your foot like you need to?
Yeah. Yeah. Sandy makes sure I do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And she
look,
makes sure I
we
have
got
my
your back.
sunscreen and my hat,
In the right
and
day.
make sure I'm protecting myself and elevating my foot. Yeah. Yeah. That's covered. Um,
Yeah.
Because
Until we get to this, yeah.
we asked him like, are you elevating your foot? Are
Oh,
you
good.
doing what Sandy tell you to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got your back on that one.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And then because I was like, Sandy's probably standing. If she was there, she'd be standing at the door looking at you because you need to go to
Yes.
sleep.
She knows. Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah, right. She does too. She's like, babe,
I
are you
would,
coming to bed?
yeah, I would get up
Yeah.
and I'm looking at the door and I'm going like this.
It's time for you. It's time for
Yeah,
you to get off that internet and get your butt to bed.
And he's
right.
like, oh, okay, well, I'm like, yeah, okay. So, but yeah, thank you for everything. This has been great. I enjoyed that. Enjoyed this. Thank you so much. I
Mhm.
appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting my husband, with this channel. I appreciate all you guys' support. And like I said, every time I go and pop in, I look at some of the comments. I see the love, and and I appreciate it. So thank you so much for being there for my husband. So thank you.
It's no. You know what?
Thank you.
When your husband creates a safe space that is initiated through love, and so everybody feels that. So it's like the one thing you'll see throughout the comments is that is accept everybody loves the fact that he creates a safe space where we feel appreciated and we know that there's no malintent. You can actually feel safe in a space.
Yes. Well, thank you. And that's what he was going for. He says, I want to create that because, just by him doing research and looking and, see what he wanted to be focused with, that's what he wanted to do, with us, as Black women. And that's what we had a conversation. I said, yeah, if you want to take that on, please do, because you're going to have the good and the bad and the ugly and more ugly than everything else that falls to place. So as long as you can, you're okay with that and you have that tough skin, like we were talking about, because people are going to come
Mhm.
at you and always say something
Oh
to,
yeah.
get you off your game. And, but don't let that happen because you have your faithful prescribers, you have your faithful panel, you have your people
Yeah.
that have your back. Everything
Mhm.
else that other people that say don't even don't even worry about it because all it is just words. But
It's,
and you just keep it moving.
yeah, it's people that hate him because they can't be him. So,
Right. Or say the
um,
things that he can say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
so that like the reason why I even thought about or considered dating outside of my race is because the views that Brent has.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, there's somebody saying that we're good and that all of the positive things that he was saying, it was just literally I've never heard anybody say these things before, and that's what sucked me in.
Mm. Yeah, he was speaking from the heart because when he was trying to um and we talked about this before too on one of his channels, that he was trying to find a subject that he can talk about and relate to. And so that's when he came up to me and said, I want to talk about interracial marriages. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
You about to press that button.
And so he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So, and I'm like, well, I'm like, okay, we'll go for it. I got your back. I mean, you go for it, do it, try it out, see what happens. And, and we go for it from there, and he goes, okay. So this is his passion. And I'm glad he made a channel that people could come and talk to and relax and they got some frustrations sometimes that you need to and just have a good panel where everybody could come and talk, have somebody there that can relate to, talk it out, and and just kind of pretty much just feel the love,
Hmm.
because and you're right in some things, we us as Black women, we just always have had that you know, this mentality that we're this and that and loud and crazy and
It's like
and
I don't
just
like. all these
stereotype.
perceptions of what they have Black women are. I was like, I don't know who those women are because I've never been like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, and yeah, and we're, there's women that are not like that. You're right. Exactly. And that's where, at this channel here, you have that free will to come and talk about everything, anything that you lays on your heart. And you just have other free will to talk to other women and get other women's perspective and, on what they go through and laugh and cry or do whatever. And so that's always, refreshing because it just makes you feel good, because, like I told him, he always asked me, he's like, how did you deal with stuff? And I'm just like, well, it's, it was a hurtful journey, but it's okay. I got through it and, always was, telling God to bring me somebody that's going to be with me and, no matter what. And they brought me my husband here and we have been together ever since. Everybody's like always asking me. I had went to a reunion, a high school reunion like years ago. And one of my friends, his name was Marty, and rest in peace, he passed like years ago, a while back, and just a young guy, but very talented. And he was like, Sandra, he goes, I will picture, he goes, I never picture you with your husband here. He says, I picture you with a tall, dark black man, linebacker, dark skinned. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. And so when everybody saw my husband, they were like in shock. They're like, whoa, we pictured you with the big dog. And I'm like,
Like,
well,
what's going on here?
exactly. Nope, that's not how it was, but I was blessed, and I love my husband. He's great. He's a good father. He's a great grandfather. I mean, he's his granddaughter loves him. And so she watches him sometimes when she sees him and she'll even call me. I'm surprised she must have went to bed or because she called me and she'll say, Grandma, did you see Papa? He's on the TV. What is he doing? So
Oh yeah.
she'll call and let me know and stuff like that. And she laughs and she loves seeing him on TV because that's such, that's a good, she smiles every time she sees him on TV and stuff. So, but yeah, but thank you. I didn't mean to go into all that, but yeah. So, but I appreciate you guys so much, and and I'm glad this is a channel for you guys to come to because we need it.
Yeah, because very rarely do you find a space where Black women are being uplifted, and the fact that he doesn't want to put other people down while he was uplifting Black women is also very rare, because Brent lives with his whole heart. And you can tell that he lives with his whole heart in everything that he does.
And he
And
does.
when somebody lives with their whole heart, you can't help but have it impact everybody that he comes in contact with.
Yes, and that's right. And even the little, I mean, he can have great comments through the night. Okay. And one bad comment comes through there, and I mean, he is just like,
that's the one he focuses on.
He's just like focus on, and I'm like, okay, so how many Okay, how many good comments? How many bad? Oh well, I had great comments, and then two. And he gets two comments, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, too bad. I'm like, really? I mean, okay. So let them say what they say. You can answer it, you can say it or whatever, but really don't even worry about it.
Yeah. That's why I was like, that's why I told him, I was like, look, even if you have other people on the panel that's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, we're gonna have to shut that down.
Right.
Because we're not letting that happen.
Right, exactly. So focus on the people that have your back, the people that have your back there that I do see. That's it. And those other comments are going to be either here and there or there. So, you know. Yeah.
So it's like when we have because it probably doesn't impact me as bad as it impacts him. But when we have like really bad negative nights, it really sucks me out of my joy, and it takes a while to recover from that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And like once we had a really, really bad one, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be on panel. I'm gonna try to be on panel as often as possible so I can redirect that because that's foolishness we don't need to have.
Right. There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's always good. Yeah, because you don't you speak your piece, you heard it, okay, we're good, and then you
It's
know,
like it's like I
mhm,
know you've been hurt, but why you harping? It's not
yeah.
you're not offering any change. If okay, the past is the past, and we can't change the past, but you also are not offering any ideas to help change the future. So that means that you're actually a part of the problem, and you're stuck. Go get some therapy, and
Mhm.
because you're basically on an insanity cycle.
Hmm.
Because the
Yeah.
definition of is insanity of doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And when you're
Hmm.
stuck in an insanity cycle, you cannot see the forest for the trees. You
Hmm.
think you're okay, but you're really not okay.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
And
And that's just, yeah. Then, I mean, you just need that, to go ahead and get it out and and then, and then after that, you're good to go. Got it out your system, and you don't have to worry about because, tomorrow's another day, and it's
mhm,
another day. It's a new day. It's a fresh start, and when you think about it, it's gonna pass, and then you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be all
mhm.
right. It's just keep your eyes focused on there. So, but
Yeah, because
yeah,
tomorrow is in God's hand, not
that's,
ours. That's
yeah,
self.
that's
We're not
true.
supposed to worry
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, with everything that's going on, yeah, that's pretty much true. So,
Yeah.
but but I, like I said, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and
Thank you
hope to see
so
you
much for
next
coming on.
time. And
Thank you so much for sharing your stories because it was hilarious.
oh,
Oh
And
thank
yeah.
you,
you guys are so cute together, and it's just like it's like
thank
hashtag
you.
couple goals.
Yes, yes,
But
yes, exactly. Yeah. And but yeah, thank you for everything. And you guys have been, hope to see you again next month too, as well. And get
yes.
everything pretty much taken care of and with my job and stuff like that too. So it's starting to get a little bit back to normal, which is starting to get busy. So I'm just like, okay. So but it's always a joy to come see you guys. You know, take care.
Mhm.
Um, just remember, uh, just keep going, baby steps. Take the time to go ahead and heal yourself, and just do you for right now, and just go for it. Open, still have your options, and because you just never you never know. So
Mhm.
but it'll you'll get there.
It'll work itself
Yeah.
out.
That's right. It sure will. So
Thank you and good night.
you too. Good night. You have a good night
Thank,
too. And keep us posted, okay?
thank you,
Yay.
thank you, Afro Angelique. Appreciate you coming on, and
No,
uh, and thank you everybody in the chat. And babe, thank you for coming on. This
Oh,
was
you're welcome.
this was awesome
Love
tonight.
you.
Had a good night. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And Sandy, I love you with everything. You're my everything.
No,
And I
I
love
love you too, sweetie. Love you.
love you too.
So yeah, we'll still have that talk afterward. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Okay.
You thought I forgot, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
You
I
don't
was
forget
trying
those
to
things.
trying to sneak by without the talk.
I knew you were.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
But
All right. Good
anyway,
night,
love you.
everybody.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. I'll see you probably in a couple days. Probably shoot for Wednesday. Maybe having a live show Wednesday. That's when I'm going to get evaluated with my foot from orthopedics. See if the break healed right. Hopefully it did. Um, and see how far this is going to come, with my work, how soon I could get back to work and stuff. And thank you, PW. Um, but anyway, guys, thanks for coming on. Had a good night. And Afro Angelique, special thanks for doing the interview. Had a good night tonight. It's always fun having my wife on the show. Um, and she agreed to once a month. Um, I'd like to push the issue and be twice a month, 3 times a month, 5. No, but anyway, um, thanks for coming on, and thanks for being part of this platform. Thanks for being part of the Roadrunner 89 Investment Network. And I love you guys. Had a good time tonight. I'll see you guys Wednesday. I don't know what time yet. It depends on my evaluation. If I'm still out Wednesday, it'll probably be early. Um, but yeah, Angelique did a great interview. And that wasn't planned. She came on the panel and interviewed us. That was really awesome. But had a good time tonight, and we were just go for an hour. It turned into 3. That's how much fun it is, and how awesome it was. But anyway, guys, have a good night. God bless you and your families, and I'll see you Wednesday.